Clips.
And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Alrighty, boop chips. There we go, just solved my problem. Morning. So interesting times, man, indeed. I think a good place to start is Press TV, Iran's English-speaking news outlet, and hear their tone, and then touch base with as many English-speaking talking holes as I can. So, try and get the top of our news in 3 minutes, but we'll touch base with Reuters, TASS, BBC, Sky News, stick a wee pause on those bad boys. Al Jazeera as well, that looks like one of their bodies getting carted out. They're always good for that. Singapore mofos. RT will be interesting. They'll all be interesting. See how the Germans, the French, try and have a wee look. As I said, as many English talking holes as I can. Unbelievable. All of the BBC's competitors, if you can call that fucking car crash a competitor, is talking badly of the BBC. Who would have funked it? Who would have funked it? And of course, some people's twisted logic will make them think, oh, was that Biden in a funny costume? I missed that. But anyway, this is the different English speaking talking holes. Why Houston prepares for heat after deadly storms. I can't really judge it on one kind of channel, but like, why the hell are
But last year, 2.5
Americans so obsessed with old weather? But pretty sure you get the idea of the format. So that's nearly the top of the hour. Let's go and check out now. I've tuned into Press TV for a wee bit this morning. Craziness of the rhetoric, man. Crazy.
On several occasions, and we spoke briefly about the resistance in Lebanon, and I saw how passionate he was about, how proud he was about the accomplishments made by the resistance. And there are a lot of stories that we never know about until, unfortunately, we lose our leaders. And I'm pretty sure that Samahat Sayyid Hassan Nasrullah will have a speech. You know, this week is the week of liberation and the Resistance and Liberation Week on May 25. I think Sayyid Hassan Nasrullah will be speaking before that for the martyrdom of President Raisi
Lebanon government 3 days of mourning.
Excellency Amir Abdullahian, and he will tell us about their exact role, because he always likes to tell the people, give the right to the righteous by telling the stories, the narrative of what happened and how their role was very important in making the resistance in Lebanon successful. And you know, the Islamic Revolution, when it says La Sharqiyya, La Gharbiyya, Jamhuriyya Islamiyya, when it says not East, not West, Islamic state or Islamic Republic, it was adamant on saying
said
it.
then.
It was intentional to say that we are all one. Do we not all say Shahada? Then we are all one.
Right.
With our different ethnic backgrounds, differing cultures,
This is-
different languages, we are one. And when you are on the path of righteousness,
Kumbaya fucking
there's no
yahin.
longer identities. It's humanity, and it's brotherhood in Islam, and it's brotherhood in humanity.
Right.
And I
My
think it was
God, man,
portrayed
I
with
think
martyrdom
I'm
of Iranian
slipping back
nationals on
into the
Lebanese soil,
fucking
and
early
with
truth
martyrdom
movement.
of Lebanese nationals on Syrian soil,
Kumbaya,
and with
hey,
martyrdoms
brothers
of
and sisters.
Palestinian nationals on Lebanese, Iranian, and Syrian soil. So. And also
Assassinated,
Yemen,
right, there
we
we
never
go.
should forget
I
about
can't
the
get much more
steadfastness
simple
and
than that.
the power of the people of Yemen. Amazing people.
Power to the people. That's already been done here.
That cannot easily be done, but they can
And
do
despite
it.
their own hardships.
Yes,
That's very
despite their own
important.
starvation, despite their own
Seriously, this isn't
because
them
of
just
age,
starting this
because
crap.
Yes.
of having greater depth and
when
understanding.
when you have experienced
Fuck's sake,
sorrow
man.
and pain,
Fucking
it brings some sort of
crazy
restraint,
ass
but
fucks.
it brings some sort of a telepathy with the people across the world where you
Now we're talking about fucking command
I think this is what
telepathy.
the statement issued
Fuck's
by Hezbollah
sake.
is, that we feel one
Hen-
another. Yes, we are saddened, but we are full of faith that this journey will just get even stronger.
For fucking
And
you're.
this is what, if you remember what we talked about in
hold
January
on,
2020
man.
when we were grieving
I'm
the
not,
loss
you're
of,
now scaring me.
Haj
I
Qasem
am not
Soleimani,
joking.
Brigadier General, Lieutenant General Qasem Soleimani. We said that, if you remember, we were together.
Right,
and
if
we
she's
said
on her
that
period,
this
I'll let her ask.
rising martyr
Right,
will shape
you know women
the
can
world
get a
order.
wee
But
bit.
look at it.
What was happen. Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. And of course, these martyrs,
And I'm
like
not trying to
Lieutenant
quote people
General
this, but
Qasem Soleimani, and like
course
our new martyrs now, will definitely make an even, hopefully, greater difference
Inshallah.
Shit.
since their martyrdom than they did while being alive. Of course, viewers, if you're just joining us, unfortunately, you know, this has been a very, very difficult day for all of us inside of the Islamic Republic of Iran and beyond. I would say those who are lovers, freedom lovers in the world are mourning the loss of President Ibrahim Raisi, the Foreign Minister, Mr. Amir Abdullahian, and others, other servants who were on board that helicopter.
assassinated.
The
Yeah,
latest
someone.
that we have is that the bodies are going
Yeah,
to be
these are just,
transferred to Mashhad, to the holy shrine of Imam Reza,
Beaties.
Imam Reza, the eighth holy Imam of Shia Islam.
Nothing
and
more.
today is the birth anniversary of the eighth Imam, and of course Ayatollah Raisi comes from Mashhad, and he's returning to Mashhad on this very, very special day. And
The
as
conspiratardin
has
is all
talked,
definitely points to
spoken
that
that
we're
though it
wiped
is
out,
a
doesn't
very
it?
difficult time. People of faith also.
It really does. Like,
Perhaps
it's
in
just
some way be very, very pleased for them
How
that
convenient.
at the end of their lives they have reached this
No,
ultimate
they
level.
still try and
in
pretend
the
to be a
process
kind
of
of news
certain
outlet, I
people.
think.
Yes.
You know, that's
So
very significant.
they've done everything
And
bar,
Ayatollah
like say it
Raisi, you know,
was
for
they
me,
were
Mada,
assassinated, but they've pointed to
being an American and living in this country,
helicopter
and seeing
crashes
these
in the
righteous
past.
servants and wanting to serve the people,
And it's wiped out
wanting to do whatever
cunts of political
whatever he
convenience.
could to
We
try
were
to
talking
meet
about
their
the South
needs.
African mofos back in the day
It was
when they
quite
were fighting the
amazing
Zionist
seeing him,
apartheid.
these several years that he had become.
Oh no, that was the wrong. That's the wrong button.
Not enough attention had been given to that it was important for him. I had said to friends, many times, and I was like, oh my God, this man is never home. He's never home. He's always out and trying to do his best. And then at the end of the day, again yesterday, he was on another regional trip, of course,
Talking about the
trying
whole
to
world
see
waking
what
up,
had
putting
been done with
everybody
these
now in the
projects.
fight of righteousness,
And,
it's
of
religion.
course, this happened.
Everybody's
It has been a
recognised
shock
religion. I'm
for
like,
all of us, and
wow.
especially for
But
the
is
lovers
this
of the
like a
resistance
fucking
in general. But I think that also,
sermon? Is it a sermon?
as
Is
we've
that what I'm
seen
for?
over the years, and the many beautiful
fucking
souls
Sunday school
that
or some shit?
have become martyrs.
Sermon?
It also gives us more hope, and basically helping us to try to do our best to continue
Yes.
that way. And you know, of course,
Fucking
we're
yen.
gonna
Are you
face
in the
challenges
cult
because
yet?
we know the
You get your
hegemonic front
your
will
GG, your
continue
George
to,
Galloway.
throw out their
No
lives and
offense,
challenges.
GG.
I know you
Shoot,
living in
it's just a
Lebanon right
quirk of
now,
fate. You
and
got your George
continually
Galloway
trying to
Fadela.
create
Yeah.
these problems for the Lebanese people and against Hezbollah. And that's why it has been
Signing
so
up for the Ra.
important, the strength of the resistance front and being a united front.
Yes.
And I think that we're seeing the strength of the resistance front stronger than ever today, because we've seen with this genocide and coordinated efforts, whether we're talking about, of course, inside the Palestinian resistance
Bloody Lord, man.
themselves.
You need to lay
know,
off. I know the likelihood is.
Okay.
Must
Okay, we're
we-
going to have to cross over. We're going to cross over to the
Come on, Hen, you need to
government
like rein it
spokesman,
in a
Mr.
wee
Jahmeh.
bit.
Let's
It's
listen up to
becoming
what
a
he has to say.
wee bit too obvious, man.
The affairs. In this time, which has not even been one day, we have interaction between different branches of the government, and various meetings have been held to speed up these services. We hope that we would succeed to do what we indebted to him. But this is obviously not something that we can do, because he thought that it's people that it's we that owe him, and to do what we should do to pay him, to pay that debt, and so that the other members of the cabinet would also do what he did. And so I would like to point out that
Why does he get a
the cabinet
microphone
are
and a
very-
mobile phone?
cabinet
Fuck's
members
sake,
are
is this just like
determined
pure?
to continue the jobs.
Usually it's
without
fucking
any
the
interruption
the
and
Japs that'll
pause.
get fucking
And
technology
so
drip
I would
every time
like
they
to
go.
show the picture of
Too soon?
late Iranian
Oh.
Foreign Minister
What's that?
Hossein Amir
Picture is
Abdullahian. And so, as they said, they will hopefully
Sorry, man.
continue
Yeah.
this path. It's very hard to believe this and to come to terms with this. And this was
Why
very
has he
difficult
got
news
his
for us. We
mobile
hope
phone and a
that we would have
microphone?
very good news. Thank you very much. I'm at your service. If
Wait,
you need to
I
something
don't
to
know
say.
if he's speaking to his
And
mom
so, with the
or that
wise
cunt
and
hogging his
prudent
interviewing.
leadership
What the
of the leader
fuck
of the
is that?
Islamic
What is
Revolution,
it?
and
Fucking tin pot
with the help
fucking
of the people
production, man.
and the officials in various branches of the government, just like the previous years and in its history,
Right.
just as it has acted
can't
when
Help
other
but find
high
that fucking
ranking
hilarious.
officials have passed away. A new movement of providing service to the people would also take place, and we hope that the same thing happens today with seriousness, speed, and with the
Right. Get a wee bit personal, man. Oh.
Our condolences. Nobody
Paused
This
it.
is just this is Iran
Zionist plot.
relation.
praying.
Iranian President Ibrahim soon.
Oh, they're going to hold more elections, which won't be elections because we are told they're not elections, but people will vote. It's just the way it worked. Right, there we go.
Breaking
Best
news,
TV,
it's been confirmed that
RTV.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and his foreign
Beat.
minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian have died in a
Where's
helicopter
their
crash
bodies?
in the Iranian province of East Azerbaijan. The Iranian first vice president is expected
on
to serve as
foreign
interim
soil.
president as the country will hold new presidential elections within the next 50 days. And contrary to U.S. senators expressing their satisfaction over the incident, leaders in the global south extend their solidarity to Iran, supporting the nation in a moment of great loss.
I'm laughing here. Do you know where my mind went to there? John McCain back in the day singing Bong
Live
Bong
in
Bong
Moscow, I'm
Bong
Rachel
Bong
Rubel. You're
Iran.
watching RT International. Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian are both confirmed to have died in a helicopter crash in the Iranian province of East Azerbaijan. The team accompanying them also perished when the helicopter went down. Footage shows emergency workers retrieving bodies from the site of the crash. The Red Crescent reports that everyone on board the helicopter died. The rescue and retrieval operation has been ongoing for over several hours. Severe weather conditions, rain and heavy fog, as well as the difficult terrain have complicated the search. Meanwhile, the Iranian government has
it's a
issued
hell of a
reassurances that the
convenient.
crash will not affect its work.
It's hell of a
The
convenient.
hard-working and tireless president of the Iranian people, who did
If you
everything
take
to serve
somebody
people
out and you
of
do a
Iran and
good
the
job, they
development
can't
and
really
progress
prove
of the
it anyway.
country,
So
kept his promise and sacrificed his life for the sake of the nation. We assure our faithful, grateful and beloved people that the path of honor and service will be continued by the tireless spirit of Raisi, a hero and servant of the nation. With the support of people, there will not be the slightest problem in the further governing of the country.
Iranian president has lost his life on his way to the East Azerbaijan provincial capital Tabriz, midway that
look at the
incident
smile on that
happened,
guy's
and Ibrahim
face.
Raisi, along with 7 other top officials were killed in that crash. And that leaves a heavy burden on the shoulder of his successor. Spokesperson of the Iranian Guardian Council, Tahan Nazif, just announced that the Iranian vice president has officially started its role to take over the presidential responsibilities for up to 50 days. And this means that that council that we spoke about earlier will be held soon with the presence of the Iranian parliament speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, as well as the judiciary chief, Mr. Ejei, along with the vice president, the first vice president, Mohammad Mukhber, to arrange that election to choose the new Iranian president within a time frame of 50 days. So what's next for Iran is to also massive, an expected massive funeral ceremony.
Fucking wipe that big fucking grin off his face. He's couldn't always look at that.
Crash, which happened yesterday, of course, for Mr. Amir Abdullahian, who's the Iranian foreign minister, and the late Iranian president Ibrahim Raisi. Of course, Raisi played a key role in revolutionizing the Iranian foreign policy. He was known for his efforts to try to move the country's economy away from reliance and dependence on ties with the West, and to try to forge new connections and new contacts with other countries and what he called new destinations, new trade destinations. He believed that the Iranian economy can survive the Western measures and the Western sanctions on the country's economy. He said that by establishing relationships with countries in the Eastern bloc,
I think there's a conspiracy on a conspiracy on a conspiracy on a conspiracy, but it certainly didn't escape me that maybe it's internal politics.
Overcome the pressures imposed against the country by the West and the United States in particular. So
the first stuff I started hearing was 3 helicopters, one went down, and it just happened to have both the president and foreign minister on it.
People are mourning the death of their president and foreign minister. Locals have flocked to mosques in droves, praying for those killed in the crash. Let's cross live now to Onur Sinan Guzaltan, Turkish political scientist at Redden University. Onur, good to have you on with us.
Right, well, let's hope that holds there and see if we can get a wee bit of Al Jazeera. Oh, it'd be good if I turned the audio on, wouldn't it?
50 days. That's it from me, Cyril Vanier, for this news hour. We take a very short break. We're back in 2 minutes with more on this.
Oh, right, so I think all right.
In 2 minutes with more on this. In 2 minutes with more on this.
In the central areas, as we kept hearing different
upfront strategy being tested for the first time, and Hezbollah now engaged in serious confrontations with the Israeli.
That looks like it there.
Foreign minister,
get the top of our news, man.
Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi has been killed in a helicopter crash. The foreign minister and 7 others were also killed. Hello, I'm Cyril Vanier. It's good to have you with us. This is Al Jazeera, live from Doha. Also coming up, Raisi was on his way to the northern city of Tabriz, flying through heavy fog, which hampered search operations for hours. As the nation mourns, Iran's supreme leader promises there will be no disruption to state
We need
business.
that here.
And Russian forces escalate their attacks on Ukraine's Kharkiv city, advancing into the northeastern region.
Mate, if Sunak's helicopter went down, man, you think of an unknown, unnameable threat that would take his place.
It's 8 GMT, that's
And then we
11:30
get Sir
a.m. in
Keir
Iran, where people are mourning the death of the president, Ibrahim Raisi, in Sunday's
I
helicopter
don't know if
crash.
anybody
The wreckage
clocked
of the
him
aircraft
on...
carrying Raisi and 8 others, including the foreign minister, has been found. It went down in a mountainous area in northern
call it
Iran.
Sunday brunch?
Rescuers are retrieving the bodies. Heavy fog and the mountainous terrain made the hours-long search operation extremely difficult.
In my
Prayers have
humble
been held
opinion,
across the
it
country.
didn't come across the
Iran's
worst,
Supreme
it didn't
Leader
come
Ali
across the
Khamenei has
best.
assured people that state affairs
There's a
will
lot of
continue as normal.
awkwardness.
To our beloved compatriots, whether you sit here or are listening from home, be sure that there will be no disruption to the state's affairs.
Let's look at a map. The wreckage was found in the East Azerbaijan province of Iran. President Raisi began his journey in the border town of Khoda Afarin, near Azerbaijan. From there, he headed towards the city of Tabriz in northwestern Iran. The helicopter then went down in a mountainous region near Uzi. Well, Ibrahim Raisi's death brings to an end a career spent at the heart of the Iranian clerical establishment. Rasul Sardar looks back at his life.
Pretty sure that must be...
Ibrahim Raisi was born to a clerical family in Mashhad, Iran's second largest city and home to the holiest Shia Muslim shrine in Iran. He was 5 years old when his father, a renowned cleric, died. His family's close relations with the clerical establishment helped him climb the career ladder. At the age of 15, he began his studies in the city of Qom, the center of the most prominent Islamic seminary in the country. Among the clerics he studied under was Iran's current supreme leader Ali Khamenei. After the revolution in 1979, Ayatollah Khamenei became Iran's president, and Raisi was appointed prosecutor of the city of Karaj at the age of 20. In 1983, he married the daughter of Ahmed al-Huda, a powerful cleric and representative of Iran's supreme leader in Mashhad. 2 years later, at the age of 25, Raisi was appointed deputy prosecutor in the capital, Tehran. He was one of 4 judges who sat on secret tribunals established in 1988. Thousands of prisoners were sentenced to death and then executed.
Killing people, getting
During
killed,
a media conference in
all that
2021, he
good
was
stuff.
asked about his role.
All I've done during my terms, always, I've moved towards defending
Here's
human
a
rights, to confront those who
dumbed
disrupt the
down
rights of people
synopsis
and
of what
committed
happened in
ISIL-like crimes,
1979.
carried out
The
anti-security
Iranian
action.
motherfuckers kicked out British
Ayatollah
Petroleum,
Khamenei,
BP.
Raisi's main supporter, was elected as the new supreme leader in 1989, and he appointed Raisi as Tehran prosecutor.
Some would
Raisi's
say
rise
that's an
through the
accurate
judicial system
portrayal.
was unprecedentedly rapid.
But of course,
In the following years,
you need to
he
wrap it
became
up
Attorney General.
in fucking
In 2016, the Supreme Leader named his former
Islamist.
student Raisi custodian of Iran's
Do you know
wealthiest
that's a
religious
new word?
foundation, the Astana Quds Razavi,
I'm pretty
which
sure
managed the shrine of
that
8
word
Shia Imam Reza in Mashhad and has
easily-
vast economic holdings in various
Well,
sectors
the
nationwide.
last year, that word
Raisi ran for
has
president
been
in
propagated
2017,
left, right,
campaigning
centre
to fight
since
corruption.
October
He
the
lost
7th.
race to his fellow
So
cleric,
less than a year.
Hassan Rouhani, but the defeat
Upward.
did not tarnish his image.
Islamists.
In 2019,
It's
the Supreme Leader
meaningless,
appointed him head of the judiciary,
but
allowing him to strengthen his relations
the
further across
correlation
critical
that people
institutions
use it
in
with
Iran.
is your typical
In
Allah Akbar,
2021,
not bar.
Raisi
So you
again
think
ran
an
for president.
Islamicists,
Prior to the
which
election,
is
the Guardian
kind of
Council
like
disqualified several prominent reformist
far
candidates
right,
who were Raisi's
light
challengers. He
rhetoric
won the election
for
uncontested,
those stinky
but the
muzzies.
turnout was the lowest since the 1979
Just an
revolution.
observation. Just
As
an
president,
observation.
he promised to reconcile the people and the government.
Fuck, who are these ninja?
People wanted a government to compensate for damage, restore trust,
What,
and
they are
bridge the
fucking
gap
mad,
between the
man.
nation and the government. The relationship between those two can always solve many problems.
But in 2022, the Islamic Republic faced the most widespread social unrest since its establishment. Nationwide protests and overseas too lasted for months, sparked by suspicious death in police custody of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. She had been arrested for allegedly violating Iran's mandatory hijab headscarf law. When Raisi took office, Iran's economy was crippled by decades of Western-imposed sanctions. In 2023, Raisi's government attempted to revive the economy and put an end to the international isolation. His government normalized diplomatic relations with regional rivals
personal
Saudi Arabia.
reasons, I'm going to go back to Press TV because they had, you remember Syrian Girlfie back in the day? I love to watch her talk. She was on Press TV earlier, man. I don't know what they're calling her now. I think they're calling her a real
Leadership
name.
of the First Vice President. Thank you very much.
Why is that guy on the phone?
Okay, you're looking at live images there, I think, from Mashhad itself, and of course,
if you want to
as we
fucking
heard
see
from
how
our correspondent
crackpotty.
earlier, where the bodies will be taken. We're going to cross over right now here in Tehran. I have Hamas's representative in Tehran, Mr. Khaled Qadoumi. Can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Feel fucking sorry for him if you can, man.
Khaled, when you first heard
what's wrong with
the
Press
news,
TV
just tell
and
me
the audio
your reactions
department?
and your overall assessment.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, my warmest and
Mate, this morning, man, you can play your drinking game with Zionist. Gaza's off the table, man. So just the Zionist regime and any kind of fucking borderline fucking cult-like rhetoric
Muslim Ummah and for the Iranian people.
coming for these independent observers.
We all are believers with the God's destiny, with whatever.
Surely it's not me. I can hear her shuffling her papers clearer than this dude. Pretty sure I understood fucking Dick Tracy's mumbles a wee bit more than him.
And for us, since yesterday,
Yep, can definitely hear her shuffling her papers.
And you know, people with the paradox statements and
watching the stream,
the social media,
sorted it out.
We all felt deep sorrows and sadness. After all, Iran has stood with all oppressed people, top of them the Palestinians. They were partners.
No, keep her audio down.
Extending everything they had for the favor of justice, for the favor of the Palestinian people.
Yeah,
and,
I will say one thing. The Hamas leader guy is the same tailor as Tommy Robertson. We've got Rupert the Bear fucking...
I'm saying that we are
right, clutching its straws here a wee bit, right? But fuck it, it's artistic license. We've got Rupert the Bear. Esque suits.
Allah help. That will streamline the situation in Iran always.
He'd be hanging about in fucking...
And always Iran
some Celtic boys clubs.
Stronger and stronger after every such calamity. We believe that, but after all, we are human. So, depth of our heart, we are really saddened by the news, by the calamity which has
bald-headed bloke. That's no way to fucking talk about me, man. It's well out order,
only it's the general feeling, sentiment, belief of all Palestinians, especially the people of Gaza and especially the
Right. I'd like your perspective on specifically these individuals we're talking about, Ayatollah Raisi or Mr. Amir Abdullahian, and their particular role that they've played in the Palestinian resistance since, of course, coming to positions of power inside of the Islamic Republic.
Well, you are talking about those individuals which they were always brothers.
Really hard fucking listen, man. The audio is...
Turkey was one of the first countries to offer help in the search for Raisi, sending its high-tech Akinji drone, which ultimately...
This is my Mandela effect moment, right? I remember the country of Turkey being called turkey like the fucking chicken. It's bigger than a chicken. Right? I remember it getting turkey. Where are you going for your holiday? Turkey. Right, okay, turkey. Get you. Now it's called Turkey something. Is it like Kiev? Has there been a war to change the name of this place?
Spotted the crash site. How do you think this move affected the search?
Turkey and Iran have a good relationship of their good neighbor relationship. So it's normal that Turkish government offer his help to the Iranian government. And I think that Turkish system help a lot to Iranian side to find the helicopter and also the dead body. And it's not first time that Turkey helping Iran, and also Iranian side helped Turkey a lot in the last earthquake, for example. So I think that it's normal that this kind of relation between neighbors.
Weather conditions were reportedly severe at the time of the crash, with heavy fog covering the area. Also, as well, during the search operation, weather was very poor. What other factors do you think could have complicated the search during the night for the president's helicopter?
I think that the official statement that is like this could just be an accident. That the official statement is that way, but I think that the political situation in the world make it hard to believe that it was an accident, because just last week there was an armed attack on Slovak Prime Minister.
I've recently just noticed that.
He was advocating normalization between Europe and Russia.
Pronunciation
and
of the
in general
country
perspective,
of
I
Turkey.
mean that the struggle between
Turkey,
the West
I think that's how it's
and the countries which are
presented
defending
in a lot of places
multipolarity,
now.
like Iran, continue the struggle between these two camps on two main fronts. One is Ukraine and the other one is Gaza. And Iran is playing an important role in this multipolar world. I mean, even in the Gaza field, Iran is so active. They are helping to Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis also. And I think that the official statement is just the accident. But I think that, I mean, the Anglo-Saxon front and Israel could target Iran. They done it before. They done it before. They already targeted several times Iranian officials, and so I think that we have to think about this possibility also.
Israel, though, has issued a statement denying any involvement. Do you think it was necessary for Israel to make a statement like that so soon?
What's the me, governor?
I mean, to take a responsibility openly that to this kind of accident, like to say that it's normal that Israel deny to take the responsibility. But I mean, I will repeat myself, but just last week that there was an assassination attempt to Slovak Prime Minister, just because relation between Europe and Russia. So I think that we can expect everything from the Western camp, and like the assassination attempts, sabotage, like the Nord Stream, we already witnessed it, and terrorist attack also. So I think Israel might play an important role in this the assassination. I don't know, it's difficult to say, but the assassination of the Iranian president and also the Iranian foreign minister.
It's been said on RT.
Did this kind of attempt several times to Iranian officials. Israel and also the supporters of Israel, I mean the United States and the England, Britain.
Okay, well, nobody's calling it an assassination, including Iran, but we're going to leave it there for now. Onur Sinan Güzoltan, Turkish political scientist at Rugen University, thank you.
The political
World
scientist?
leaders
Does
are
that mean he
offering
puts
their
politics
condolences
in a
over
fucking
the
test
tragic
tube?
death of the Iranian president, remembering him as a strong leader and outstanding individual. Among them, fellow BRICS members, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and Indian Prime Minister Narendra
It's a
Modi.
stupid question. Was Iran part of the BRICS?
Deeply saddened and shocked by the tragic demise of Dr. Sayed Ibrahim Raisi, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran. His contribution to strengthening India-Iran bilateral relationship will always be remembered.
They said. I don't think they would make
My
it
heartfelt
up,
condolences to his family and the people of Iran. India stands with Iran in this time of sorrow.
On behalf of the government and people of South Africa, President Ramaphosa offers his deep condolences to the Supreme Leader of Iran and the government and people of the Islamic Republic. President Ramaphosa's thoughts are with the families of the late president and foreign minister, as well as the relatives of the personnel and aircrew who perished.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has expressed his deep sorrow over the deaths of the president and foreign minister of Iran. Russian President Vladimir Putin has also extended his condolences, praising Ibrahim Raisi's contribution in forging Moscow and Tehran's partnership.
Say Chinese names.
Sayed Ibrahim Raisi was an outstanding politician whose entire life was devoted to serving the motherland. He rightfully enjoyed high respect from his compatriots and significant authority abroad. As a true friend of Russia, he made an invaluable personal contribution to the development of good neighborly relations between our countries and made great efforts to bring them to the level of strategic partnership.
All right, let's cross live now to economist and political analyst Nehemiah Kamani. Nehemiah, good to have you on with us. World leaders have been offering their condolences since President Raisi's death was announced. Why do you think most of the messages of support so far, though, are coming from the global south?
Basically because we have seen in the recent past that the Iranian president, the late Ibrahim Raisi, had tried to reach out to some of those countries, and the existing or the current leadership of those countries have had some agreements with him regarding his various sectors, whereby they would have a joint kind of investment.
Some random Joe man. Get him on.
They feel
say something.
Because they are not so sure whether the agreements will be executed as it were, or as it had been planned by Raisi. So that's number one. Number two, we also see that the Iranian government had tried to look for new friends and forge new diplomatic ties, owing to the fact that it has suffered a lot of sanctions from the West. So we believe this could be the reason, now that they had become friends and they had become diplomatic partners in various fronts.
What does Raisi's death mean in terms of significance and impact for the global south?
Majorly, the issue of the agreements and the issue of collaboration that had been agreed upon. We do not know whether whoever is going to take up will live to the expectations of the global South countries. We know, like in the recent past, when he had made
this is again something that I've heard coming up more and more
last year in some of the African countries. We know there were some various agreements that
so it's like Turkey, Russia. Why the fuck is Russia in the fucking global South leaders?
Over the agreements and over the partnership that they
Iran,
had agreed.
Turkey,
and therefore
and
that
Russia
would also be a
flags.
concern.
I'm pretty sure.
And we are hoping for the best. We are looking forward to see
And that's
if
what
this debacle
maybe the
whole
global
issue
South
would be executed
leaders.
as it would have been executed if Ibrahim Raisi did not die.
We are starting
the
to see
global
some
South
reaction
to
trickle in
me
slowly
suggest
from the West, as it's still early in
countries
many of
for
those
the
countries. What do you
Southern
expect
Hemisphere,
the
no?
response will be to
Am I
Raisi's
crazy?
death in the U.S. and the EU?
Rescuers,
Majorly, we do not
helicopter,
expect much because we know they have had very strained relationships. But as a matter of fact, it would only be wise for them, if I were to say, for them to play cool. And of course, they cannot be celebrating the death of another president. That one, I believe. And we have seen that they have even sent their condolences, sincere ones, we hope. But again, we know that this shall bring a very, very complicated way of relationship with the West. Because we do not know whether the one who is taking up from Ibrahim Raisi will be in a position to, one, lure the West as well as the United States? We are not sure. Neither are we sure whether he's going to be fierce or a fierce critic to the West and the American. So we are just, it's a matter of just wait and see.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Nehemiah Kimani, economist and political analyst at Lackham Consultants Services. Thank you.
He's got a website.
The circumstances of the crash are
There we
still
go.
unknown.
Oof.
Iranian authorities are expected to launch an investigation to find out what could have caused the incident and who might gain from the tragedy. The country has strained relations with a number of major global players, mainly the U.S. and Israel. Tel Aviv promised revenge for Tehran's retaliatory attacks just last month. Some U.S. politicians were quick to express their satisfaction with what had happened even before the fate of the Iranian president became known.
Good riddance. Raisi was a murderous human rights abuser before and during his presidency. But
So
look for the
what
Iranian
did
regime
I
to blame
hear?
Israel and the
The,
US for an assassination
Polk
as
calling
another
him
excuse to support
the-
terrorism.
The
Raisi is
butcher
dead,
of
the world is
Tehran
now
or
a
some
safer
shit.
and better place. That evil man was a tyrant and terrorist. He was not loved or respected, and he will be missed by no one. If he's gone, I truly hope the Iranian people have the chance to take their country back from murderous dictators.
Oh, God.
Fouad Izzadi, professor of political communication at the University of Tehran, says the U.S. may have a hand in the Iranian leader's helicopter crash.
Sooner or later, Iran will find out what was the cause of the crash. It could be the weather, it could be the malfunction of the helicopter, or it could be sabotage. And if it's a sabotage, we hope it's not sabotage, but if it's sabotage, it's only Israeli and American operation that can engage in this type of terrorism. These are the same people who are killing thousands of children, they're killing hundreds of people on a daily basis. They have no respect for human rights. They have no respect for international law. If it's sabotage, killing another country's president,
it's not really hard to convince people that
severe consequences for
people wanted
people who engaged in that type
those
of
Iranian folks
behavior.
out the way,
The
big
weather was
style.
quite bad, so at the end of the day,
The Vela.
it could be that could be the reason. We don't know
the
cause
West,
yet.
our dudes couldn't do
In
that.
September 2023, the Iranian president was in New York, where our correspondent Caleb Malcolm got the chance to speak with him. Here is a short segment from that interview.
Iran has faced widespread criticism for its stance on the Ukraine conflict, with Kiev and its partners lashing out and criticizing Iran. What would you say to those who look on at this, and it appears to be some kind of
Russia's managed to get fucking Ukraine into the mix somehow.
We are convinced that the
fucking
war
had to,
between
didn't they?
Ukraine and Russia needs to come to an end as soon as possible. Most decisively, it will be good for all the parties. If we want to understand what had caused this war, it is NATO's desire to expand its influence on more countries and establish its presence and set up military bases not only in Ukraine, but in many other states. Naturally, what we observe now happening is Ukraine seriously increasing its capacities thanks to America and Europe, above all in terms of the military aid it receives.
It's fighting and shagging season Doberman, man, that's for sure.
Let's see who is to
That is
benefit
for
from
sure.
a prolonged war. Is it Ukraine? Is it perhaps Europe? Or is it those who are praying today for this war to go on? I am convinced that with regards to this issue, the Islamic Republic of Iran, above all, stands for facilitating the end of this war, playing a mediator's role between Russia and Ukraine if possible. However, all those who are today sending all sorts of aid, including financial and military aid to Ukraine, do not wish to end the war. They wish to protract it by any means possible. The Islamic Republic of Iran, due to the ample opportunities it now has at its disposal, has been blamed by the West, which is trying to throw in more accusations. We have given our response to these accusations on different forums.
Right, mate, tell us the
We said,
fucking man
if you
version,
have
man,
something to
fuck's
back
sake.
up these accusations, please produce it. They have not been able to produce a single piece of evidence or proof of any
Hey,
kind.
watching too much
Today,
Russell
we
Brand,
have no
man.
doubt that their
You
strategy is to
fucking
keep accusing the
shit.
Islamic Republic in order
What
to
you want to
disparage it
say?
and set public opinion against it. But this trick, just like all the other tricks they have used against the Islamic Republic, won't help them.
Now, I would like, if possible, for you to give us your assessment of the prospects and future of relations between Iran and Russia.
We have enjoyed long-standing relations with Russia in multiple areas, including politics, economics, trade, defense, and security. And our cooperation is developing every day. Even the war in the region couldn't slow down our cooperation in multiple areas. Quite the opposite. The political will that prioritizes expanding our cooperation, particularly in the areas of trade and economy, as well as our partnership in the international North-South transport corridor.
Right. So, Press TV, RT, and Al Jazeera so far. So let's go and pick up the flavour of the BBC's. What am I looking for? Oh, Assange. Dirty blood.
Live from London, this is BBC News. Iran's president and foreign minister are killed after their helicopter crashed in the northwest of the country.
Hold your hands
The two men were returning from a visit to the border with Azerbaijan. There appear to be no survivors. Waiting for the truth, the public inquiry into the UK's inflected blood scandal will publish its final report later.
Yep.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange
Years
could
after
learn today whether his
anybody
extradition to the US
matters.
will go ahead.
Anyway,
Decision
could be held
is
accountable.
expected at the High Court in
do
London,
something.
where supporters of Mr. Assange are already gathering. Hello, I'm Sarah Campbell.
So
We
they're gonna
start
dance
with
on his
breaking
grave.
news. Iran has confirmed the death of President Ebrahim Raisi, who died along with the foreign minister when their helicopter crashed on Sunday. Their bodies have now been recovered from the crash site. It's thought another 7 people might have been on the helicopter, which crashed in thick fog and rain. The search took place in a mountainous area in northwestern Iran near Tabriz and was hampered by the bad weather. Graham Satchell has the story.
It's just too easy to
Search teams have been scouring
believe
the
it was
mountains of
fucking
northwest Iran all night.
Twitter,
Thick
man.
fog and heavy rain hampered their
Fucking
efforts, but in the early hours of this
scarily
morning, a
convenient,
drone sent by Turkey identified a source of heat. Footage shows an aerial view of a landscape at night and a dark blotch on what appears to be a hillside. When rescuers eventually reached the wreckage on foot, they found the helicopter which had been carrying Iran's president and
Iranians,
foreign
here's
minister
what you
was
just
completely
hear, leader,
burned
you
with no
fucking
signs of
see.
life. And soon after, confirmation that both Iran's president, Ebrahim Raisi, and foreign minister have been killed in the crash.
The servant of Reza, the servant of the Iranian people, Ayatollah Ibrahim Raisi, the president of the Republic of Iran, was martyred while serving the people of Iran.
President Raisi, seen here on the left, had been visiting a dam project.
Yes,
This is footage of him
base.
earlier in the day, travelling in a convoy of 3 helicopters. Ebrahim Raisi became the Iranian president in 2021. He was responsible for tightening morality laws and oversaw a ruthless crackdown of anti-government protests. He was seen as a potential successor to the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Come on,
His death will
BBC,
have a
man. You can't really use that as a fucking tool to fucking demonise people anymore, man. We're in Britain, you fucking idiots. People are like, oh, hold on. Little crackdown against anti-government. Oh, hold on, that's pretty much sounds like fucking same shit firing over here. The fuck?
Profound impact on Iran and the wider Middle East. Graham Satchell, BBC News.
Well, with more on this, I'm joined from our newsroom by our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette. Hello to you, Lise. Clearly tragic circumstances, no doubt a shock for Iran and the Iranian people. Just take us through what happens now in terms of the sort of power structure in Iran.
It's funny though.
It's a huge shock to Iran, this unprecedented, this tragic accident.
I would argue, right, this is the most spook-sounding accent you'd ever get. You know, you can't place it. This accent has no place in the world. It's a mixture of like South African, Australian, fucking Doha. Just all the wee. I've never even done due diligence on her, right? Chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, right? French, that the name. But I would argue the likelihood of Armand being ball deep in the spook game is very, very, very high. You could call her a spook, I suppose. But just listen to her accent, man. Farmer, South African, Australian, American.
But under the constitution of Iran, power has now transferred to the Iranian Vice President, Mohammed Mokhtar. He, as well as the head of the judiciary and the Speaker of the Parliament, are charged with organising early presidential elections in Iran. Those have to be held within the next 50 days. This is an absolutely critical moment for Iran's ruling conservatives, the hardliners, the group that Ibrahim Raisi was very much part of. Their focus now will be to send a message of continuity, of stability of the Islamic Republic, both to Iran, to its supporters, as well as to its opponents inside and outside the country. It also knows that the world is watching.
What do you make to the international reaction that we've seen so far? Obviously, condolences sent from countries, but just wondering in terms of the international dynamic, obviously it's a time of great tension in the Middle East. Does this change any of that dynamic?
So far, the expressions of grief, sadness, shock, sympathy for Iran have come from Iran's allies,
that would be a good
particularly in the region, in what's known as the axis of resistance, the militias aligned to Iran, which have been playing an increasingly powerful role during the tensions of recent months over the Israel-Gaza war.
Even fucking James Bond,
Pakistan, India,
#1 fucking
have also
spook. We
been
all know that's
expressing
documentary.
concern and
Really
sorrow,
is, actually,
saying
but
that
anyway,
their hearts are with
James
Iran.
Bond's
There
accent, at
hasn't
least
been
he
any
could go.
reaction from those countries of which Iran has had for many decades now tense relations. There was a statement from Israel, from an anonymous source speaking to one of the news agencies, saying that if Israel was not responsible in any way, in case questions arise that there may have been foul play in this helicopter crash. But when it comes to Iran's direction on foreign policy, there will be no change. That decision-making power rested with the ultimate authority in the Republic, the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, as well as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Dan Doberman, I'm tirelessly pointing this out. You think British Jews are overrepresented on the TVs? What about fucking Scots, man? We've got our own channels up here, right? Head to toe Scottish motherfuckers, right? There's one person I know on STV, and it's the Westminster fucking STV correspondent, who's American, and it pisses me off. But we've got our own channels, head to toe full of Scots, and then you go down to these ones. And considering that we're fucking 6-7 mil, I think, in a country, we're 1/10 of the population. So we've got our own channels, and then we're over. Anyway, What I'm saying is Scots rule the world.
Sway over Iran's foreign policy, particularly in the region.
Okay, at least you set for the moment. Thank you. Let's speak now to Rusber Parsi, head of the Middle East programme at the Swedish Institute of International Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us here on BBC News.
Go and run the world here, isn't it?
Reaction coming in to the death of the president and the foreign minister. We were just listening there to our international affairs
the best reactions
talking
the
about
Press
the fact that
TV
this
one
doesn't
where they're getting all the
necessarily change the
tweets.
dynamic, doesn't necessarily
all the
change
warhawks
the
like,
tensions,
yes,
which
he's
are obviously
dead. We
have been such a
came,
major part
we
of
saw,
Middle East,
he
politics
died.
at the moment. What's your take on the implications of the death of the president of Iran?
Hillary.
Well, as Lisa said, I think there is a baseline set for Iranian foreign policy, which is set collectively. So therefore, the president can at best modulate that baseline, but not really set it himself. So there will be more continuity than change on that. But the big question mark now is whether the conservatives, and they belong to all kinds of camps within that conservative family, if they can find another unifying candidate, because that was in the end Raisi's unique selling point. It was the one person they could all agree on could front the conservative attempt to take over the state wholeheartedly. And now he's gone. And the question is if there is anyone among them that the rest of them can live with as being the president. And of course, the second... Sorry
to interrupt. Just maybe take us through what we expect over the next 50 days and this sort of, obviously, a power vacuum there in terms of the place of the president. So who are the sort of rival candidates? Who will they be looking at?
Pretty sure those motherfuckers in Iran that wanted this dude
a parliamentary speaker, or is that
there's
now
obviously
like
people
and Mohsen Rezai
elsewhere that want some deed as well.
So these are people who have tried to become president before and kind of set themselves up for eventually at some point maybe being able to reach that position. But they have always found enemies within their own camps that have kind of stopped their ascent. So all of these might gear up again.
Oh God, man!
Then they only have
fucking easy for you to say, man.
Constitution to arrange this new election.
But I hear you, man.
And the next question is what the Guardian Council is going to do, because
you're in one camp or the
they're very conservative. And they usually spend most of their time making
everybody's
sure
nailed their
reformists
flag
of any value are allowed to stand. So the question is now whether the conservatives can get themselves together and whether the reformists will try to challenge them by putting up a good candidate. It's only to have it shot down by the Guardian Council.
I don't want to execute any
president in Iran. Obviously, you have the Ayatollah. So where does the president sit?
In every way, it's hard to find somebody that has
their mandate comes from the people. Now, Iran is not a democracy. These are very, if you will, engineered elections. But nonetheless, they tended to
Let's get back to the scary crackpots of Press TV. This makes me want to fucking sign up for fucking Tommy Robinson's Communist Party, man.
Met them before they ascend to the post.
Apart from the shite audio.
As comrades, as soldiers of the
what the fuck, Press TV, man. Swear, genuine shout out. I'll produce your fucking shit better quality than this shit, and you won't have to listen to some cunt shouting in a tin can. Like, it's just not broadcast quality fucking shit, man.
The foreign minister was nothing on, and I think do something. Talk about the greater
so if I produce it, you might say a wee bit more forehead.
Basically, resisting.
Oh no, these are the scary fucking biatches, man. Listen to this shit.
How important, and he's talking about Salamine Abdullahian. He said he cannot express in words how important and how vital the work of Martyr Amir Abdullahian was to bring better connections with the entire world, not only with Russia.
Praise fucking God, fucking
this. Diplomats with that caliber, it shows that it is not easy.
I'm a big believer. The more educated motherfuckers get, the fucking less they are to fucking believe this shit. Whatever brand of crackpot fucking organised religion to make you sometimes literally dancing around in circles.
President Raisi and his staff and his government are willing to serve both the community in Iran and also to help the resistance factions across the
spent his life in non-stop service to his country.
I think that
and
the upcoming days and months, as hard as they are going to be, I'm pretty sure that the right people would be.
Where is this fucking baby Jesus, man? Get him fucking back here now, man. Flap cunts about, man. It fucking shows what way's up.
And I think that whoever is gonna take that torch and continue the path.
How do fucking people
will
get
have
so fucking
a bit of a challenging path, but would be definitely
manic,
enlightened by the
crazy
past
manic
experiences
shit
bestowed
over fucking
upon
fairy
the
tales, man.
newcomers
Like, hold
in
on, man.
those specific positions. And I
We've got
think
shit
that they
called
have laid
fucking
already grounds that the current
knowledge now.
markers that we are
We don't need to, we don't need to like explain crazy shit
we are
away
grieving their
with
loss, but
fucking
celebrating their
magic
martyrdom,
men in the
which
sky.
they themselves wanted and were keen on.
You're still going to have a
receiving,
hard
asking
job
God
convincing
for it
me
throughout
that there
their
was a
lifetimes.
virgin birth
And I think that
and
they
some
have
cunt
laid
parted
already the
fucking
grounds
water.
for whoever's going to take that torch and continue the journey to do it
believe
while
bushes were
standing
burning.
head high in the face of these
I
challenges.
can
in the
believe
face of the
maybe it was a
upcoming,
weed
certainly
bush.
upcoming
You're
challenges,
starting to run it, man. You're getting
which
high
will
as a
be
motherfucker.
a new chapter in the face of the hegemony of the West.
You're high as a
against,
motherfucker.
the people
And you're
of
like, oh,
the
hold
global
on,
South,
this bush is
basically, but
talking
the
to
people
me.
who are against
Right.
usually the plans and the
all the crack pottiness, man, and the fucking the fucking biblical fucking text, man, whatever.
Probably
fucking
that's why we have not
version
heard
of the
anything
crap
out
we
from
fucking
the
listen
White
to.
House. So far,
Can
there's
be
still,
explained with
I
fucking
think they're
magic
still scrambling,
mushrooms
not knowing
and
what to
shit
write,
like that.
because they will try to save face. I
'Cause
think
no
they
matter
will
how
try to
hard
save
I
face, but
try,
their face has been already
no matter
exposed,
how
and
hard I
whatever
try,
their upcoming plan
I can't
is,
see
it
God.
will
I
definitely
can't fly.
be
There is no such thing as a virgin birth. The cunt that convinced you that there was a virgin birth covered these tracks very well.
And the continuous efforts of the leaders of the
Honest honour. Honest honour. I didn't fuck this young girl. No. She, that's the fucking son of God. Fucking.
Did not know fatigue, and it's
you're
really on a day-to-day basis that he was all over the country.
Anyway,
and
I'm
trying
not
to
fucking.
address the needs.
I could fucking beat that shit up all day long, man. Remember, I'm not an atheist, man.
For the regular
I've got my own crackpot beliefs, but they're fucking more saner than any of this shit that have people dancing round in circles, fucking filling other people's pots with gold and shit, man. Mental. Although they do a good building.
Will be taking over, not being called president, but will still be in the vice president capacity, but filling in the duties of the president. And in 50 days, really not a whole lot of time. I mean, you know,
come on, tell us about the world coming together as one.
To Islamic democracy is actually being applied here, and dictatorship is being applied in the entities
West
and states and regimes where who claim that they are
democracies,
who, by the way, suppress journalists, that the way that they are suppressing, for example, Julian Assange, who, by the way, has a court today.
Who's the West has kicked out RT and Press TV and
across the universities in Europe and the United States of America for standing up against genocide, for voicing their discontent with how their government is operating. They chose to be not democratic, but to crack down and beat and torture and incarcerate academics and students and youngsters who really believe in the goodness of this humanity. But they try to protect everything that they've ever done against us, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, because it's no longer just a state in Asia. Iran, with the approval and the acceptance of everyone.
Fucking hell, mate, man.
One of the superpowers of the East.
That we say, that is a wartime economy, isn't it?
It's working. It is in the process of taking over not only its sovereignty, but also its economic opportunities and its social principles and its major values that it shares with its allies and its friends across the globe, not only in the East. And our enemies know that. And we know that perfectly because they never rest. They're always constantly
Gigi, I can
trying
see all the
to,
analogies. I
trigger some
can
sort of a
I
clash
can
or
explain.
conflict, to demonize
I can
anything that
approach
the Islamic
all
Republic
those
does.
stories
They
that
name
are in the
native
Bible
resistance as terrorists when
from
it's
a
halal
logical
for them
perspective
to
and
have
kind of
82
explain them.
countries come up with an alliance and
The
go to war
Virgin
Syria,
Birth
when
shits
it's
the
haram
fucking
for the natives of the region to stand united in the face of the threat.
That's
that
the
is-
Mac
it
Daddy,
is,
innit?
the same
Come
cancerous
on,
threat
you
that is threatening their
fuck.
lives, that is threatening their families, that is threatening their
Okay,
economies,
hell, man.
their
How that dude got away with that,
stability
man?
in the region.
Kudos to
What
him.
they do,
Yeah,
they do
that
allow for
fucking-
themselves,
that
they do,
fucking
to be
bull
righteous
crap.
for themselves.
After
but
him
they do
pumping
the
that little
evil
girl,
if others do it. And that's the
the
empathy
bull
of
crap that
people.
he
We don't
spun
see eye to eye
seems
with
to have
other humans.
spawned a fucking religion. Kudos
The
to him.
genocide was being implemented
There's
against
nobody
any other
going to
people than the
convince me
Palestinian
that a
people.
fucking
I don't think that we would have waited
woman give birth,
till now to
a
see
woman that are virgins
an
give
end.
birth. Come on,
Okay?
fuck.
I think that had it not been these native brown people of
believe that
Palestine,
bastard,
the world
man.
would have
Who the fuck
reacted
am I?
differently,
I'm no
and it
Jesus.
was evident in what was going on in Ukraine. So, but again, I
Oh,
think
man.
that all of these trials, all of these attempts,
Right, so they
have
got it
so
rolled
far
on.
failed,
They rolled out
and
the
with the leadership of
militant
the leader of the revolution,
vaginas
inshallah, they will
on the
fail
press
again.
TV.
But
Because
it's a long
it's a wee bit
process.
more
It's
palatable,
a
innit?
journey. We need
Like
to
your
continue.
fucking crazy Yemeni
Yes,
dudes.
maybe today, maybe we can cry a small tear for the loss of our leaders. But tomorrow we have to wake up again with the same energy, with the same passion, with the same goal. Pursue that
And
journey,
any
and bi'idhnillah, we will get there.
nation lost a
Yeah, and even
sincere
today,
and
through our
valuable
tears, we have
servant
to continue.
in this
Continue
tragic
what we need to do. Myra,
incident.
thank you so much for
Not
being with me
accident.
here today in the
Incident.
studio. And viewers, thank you so much for being with us here at Press TV. Of course, this is on a very, very difficult day as we continue our rolling coverage this on the martyrdom of President Ibrahim Raisi and, of course, Foreign Minister Mr. Amir Abdullahian and the others who were on the helicopter with him. Well, thank you so much for being with us. That's it for me for now. My colleague Kaveh will be joining us here in the studio shortly.
Damn
For me,
Doberman, my
goodbye
man.
until
You
a few
better, my
minutes later.
friend. Whatever gets you through the night, man.
In the event of death, removal, resignation,
I believe in my
absence, or
own
illness of the
crazy
president
crackpot
for more
shit,
than 2
so
months,
I
or when
can't
the
condemn
presidential
anybody.
term has ended,
It's the
the
organised
president has
religion,
not
man.
yet
It's
been
the
elected
people
due to some
behind that
impediments
shit.
or similar other
Use
circumstances,
people's
the first vice
genuine
president assumes his
wants,
powers
will,
and
beliefs,
functions upon the approval of the
all
leader
that
of the
jazz
Islamic Revolution.
as a way of
Also, a
controlling the
council
masses.
consisting of the
Some
Speaker
would
of
say
the Parliament,
controlling the
the
sheep.
Judiciary
Some
Chief,
would say
and the
the
first
sheep are
vice
in a
president
flock.
is obliged
Some would
to arrange
say
for a new
the
president
Lord is
to be
my
elected
shepherd.
within a maximum period of 50 days.
Lord
In the case of
Lord.
the death of the first vice
Look,
president
I'll get
or
fucking
other
I'll
circumstances that prevents him from performing
Bloodstone.
his duties, or when the president
Blood
does not
of the
have a
baby
first vice
Jesus.
president, the leader of the
I've
Islamic
got a St.
Revolution
Christopher
appoints another
comes
person
with
in his
body
place.
skin. Get a Buddhist prayer view.
The Iranian military punished and reined in the Israeli regime.
Money,
This shows
money.
Iran's power. Today, the
It's a
whole
Buddhist
world
mantra.
admits that what the Iranian armed forces did with
And
the
the
wise Islamic Revolution
design
leader's
for life.
prudence was not only a true promise
golden
coming
ratio.
true, but also a precise and calculated
Oh,
move.
we got the golden ratio
Today, it
there
is
as well.
being acknowledged by the world leaders. It was an
Nah,
extremely
crackpot.
calculated
Crazy
move.
beliefs.
What one can witness of the achievements of this revolution.
Just listen to Donald
See
Duck.
that the Islamic Revolution
Wising you up. Donald Duck.
is making progress
Mathematic
today.
land, mathematical world, mathematic man.
And
Something along
does
those
not
lines will get you.
recognize any
Best cartoon ever
obstacle
made.
on its path. The enemy, through various wars, including military war, economic war, a media war, and psychological
I think
warfare.
when I see a lot of these people having a
And
speech,
recently,
especially the Middle Eastern dudes,
the enemy has
and
launched a
what that
hybrid
screen,
war.
at first I thought it was bulletproof glass,
So as
then I
to
realised it was just to
hamper the progress
protect
of the Iranian nation.
the public. Hamas talk.
The nation has emerged victorious. In the face of these impediments, and the nation managed to disappoint the enemy.
We believe the presence of the Americans in Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, and the region is in no way creating security. It just disrupts the security of the region. The presence of the Americans has not created security anywhere and will not do so in the future either. Anywhere the Americans set foot, they prove to be the source of sedition and evil.
In the event of death, removal, resignation, absence, or illness of the president for more than 2 months,
I don't know whether you can remember picking
has
this up,
ended,
mate.
and the new president has not yet been elected due to some impediments or other circumstances, the first vice president assumes
very
his
earlier
powers
on
and functions
in his
upon the approval of the
leadership
leader of
at
the Islamic
Rangers,
Revolution.
he was
Also,
talking
the
about
council
how
consisting of the Speaker of the Parliament, the Judiciary Chief,
he wasn't too
and the first
complimentary
Vice President
about
is
like
obliged to
fucking
arrange
the
for a new
pre-season
president to be
training
elected
and all
within a
that
maximum
jazz,
period of 50 days.
and how
In case
fit
of
the
the death of
fucking
the first
squad
vice president or other
generally
circumstances
wasn't.
that prevents him from
And
performing his duties, or when the president
I don't
does
think he
not
done
have
it
a first
deliberately
vice
or out of
president, the
malice,
leader
but he
the
kind of
Islamic
fucking
Revolution
was like,
appoints
Bill
another
hasn't
person
he done
in
his
his
fucking
place.
pre-season and you know like all your training fitness. Didn't he make them run up and down the stairs enough? I don't think.
This shows Iran's power.
He's magic sponge, wasn't he? Magic enough.
That what the Iranian
Right, what is this? We just
with the wise Islamic Revolution.
press TV. Just going to right. Let's have a wee. Well, hold on. That'll be nearly the top of our news. So let's see what the European Union are saying to it.
Coming hours whether the WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will finally be extradited.
Fucking hell, man! How many Colonel Sanders are there in the fucking news world?
To appeal. Assange could face espionage charges
Remember
in
there
the
was
US.
a black one the other day, man.
Iran's president Ibrahim Raisi has been killed in a helicopter crash to the program.
Right, oh, there we go. Top of our news, easy peasy.
I'm Gerhard Elfers. Welcome to the program. Iran's president Ibrahim
Right,
Raisi has
fuck
been
you,
killed
mate.
in
I
a
want
helicopter crash.
I want
Iran's
chicken.
State TV says Raisi, his foreign minister, and others have died in bad weather in a remote region near the border with Azerbaijan. Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei has appointed an interim president who must hold elections within the next 50 days. He's also ordered 5 days of national mourning.
Search teams scoured the foggy mountains in northwestern Iran for hours. Eventually locating the helicopter's burned wreckage.
DJ, man, I fucking say it. Monkey see, monkey do, man. It's so true.
Army officials rushed to the
Right,
crash
you could well
site.
suggest it looks like it's fucking just pure fucking.
from the
It's like it's been
wreckage.
hit by a missile, doesn't it? There's nothing there.
The
apart
helicopter
from the
went
wing.
down near Iran's
the tail,
border with
sorry.
Azerbaijan, where President Raisi and his foreign minister had been attending a dam opening ceremony.
Gary Webb.
Iran's state TV confirmed news of their deaths,
What's the Gary Webb?
sending shockwaves across Iran.
Is that Gary Webb, the Scottish fucking
Leaders
autistic dude
across
that
the world
fucking hacked
offered their
shit? Am I
condolences.
tripping, mate? Is that if I went to the wrong place?
First of all, I'd like to extend my condolences to the brotherly Iranian people on the death of the President of the Republic,
I know what you mean, man.
the Minister
Yeah,
of Foreign Affairs, and their accompanying delegation following the accident.
It's happy.
We ask God Almighty to forgive them.
Like again, like
Raisi
Assange,
became
legit or
president
no,
in
it's very hard to
2021
call
and
on it,
was
man.
a
He certainly
deeply
said
conservative and
a lot
hardline
of shit
leader.
and brought out a lot of shit that
He oversaw
people
a
wanted to
brutal
hear.
crackdown on Iranian protesters in recent
So
years.
much so that that's why
Raisi was
people
seen
were
as a
skeptical.
potential
Were like,
successor to the
"Fuck's
supreme
sake, mate, you're
leader
a fountain of
Ayatollah
fucking
Khamenei.
knowledge, man. Who are
And
you?"
shares his strategy of
But I get you, mate. If he
supporting
is
proxy
just like a
across the Middle East.
Rain Man type dude that
Under
done all that
Iran's
for the right
constitution,
reasons,
the
man.
vice president takes over if the president
that
dies,
Gary Webb,
with
how-
new
what happened?
elections to be held within 50
Not
days.
great, John. I must
Iran's
be in the
cabinet
wrong-
has already held an
must be in the
emergency
wrong spot.
meeting, asserting there will be no problem with the management of the country and vowing to follow Raisi's path.
Google this shit.
Earlier, I spoke with Niloufar Gulami from DW's Persian service, and I asked her how shocking this news has been.
That is Colonel Sanders in a fucking half.
For the camp of regime supporters,
it's a shock. That was positive discrimination. Think you'd have got that job if you didn't look like Colonel Sanders?
The people. All people on board were among high-ranking officials, including East Azerbaijan provinces.
Oh, you're not allowed to joke about these things, I'm pretty sure. There's a law against fucking having fun. Like tragedy, man.
Protesters in Iran in protest
well, it certainly isn't the dude I was thinking of, buddy.
For many, this was
God knows where my head went to. Pulitzer Prize-winning coverage of the Loma.
So, under Article 131 of Iran's constitution, first
just move on and say that I did neatly pronounce that correctly.
Temporarily assume racist duties
The
with
series
the Supreme Leader's approval.
examined
And
the
according to
origins
the
of
law, a
crack
council
cocaine,
must organize a
claimed
new
that members
presidential
of the
election within 50 days.
anti-communist Contra,
In my opinion, this
Was it
won't
all
be
the
a
Iran
major challenge for the
Contra?
regime and won't affect the Islamic Republic's
Nicaragua?
foreign or domestic politics. Let's not forget that the strategic decisions are
so
set
he was
by
an
the Supreme
investigative
Leader
journalist
and the
back in the day
IRGC,
when
not the president. But of course, they will use
some
this
would
as an
argue they were
opportunity
real.
in any possible way to
You know,
implement
nowadays-
more pressure on the society and establishing a security atmosphere all
was
over
a
the
death
country.
suicide.
No, Raisi was known as a
Why do you
hardliner.
find
Some
that
even called him the
fucking
butcher of
hilarious,
Iran. Tell
man?
us a bit more about him.
Yeah,
all
Raisi
respect
was
to
a
his
hatred
family and
placed
all
on
that,
many
Taz, right? I
Iranians.
just
As
find
you
it
already mentioned, he was known as the hangman
hilarious.
and butcher of Tehran
The
for
dude.
his role in execution of political prisoners in the late 80s
Could have been
as a founding
suicided.
member of prosecution committee. That's why
hilarious.
many
That
Iranians
is-
are
that's
expressing
funny.
their happiness. It's not surprising that many
They
social
definitely
media
get shit
users
of,
write funny tweets and
tinfoil
post
hat
memes
fucking
about the
penguin,
incident.
that's for
Some
sure.
family members of the victims of recent protests or the ones who lost an eye or injured posting their videos celebrating the death of Raisi and Amir Abdullahian. A group of Iranians, for example, gathered in front of the Iranian embassy in London to celebrate. And I saw some videos of fireworks in different locations of Iran, and that's why Iranian Ministry of Justice and the police
No, it
intelligence
certainly took
organization
Gaza
warned citizens
right after the
about what
fucking
they
news
share on
cycle,
social
man.
media.
I mean, Press TV usually fucking wall to wall,
Niloufar
dead
from DW's Persian
Gazians,
service. Thank you very much, Niloufar.
Gazwegians.
Thank you.
We will find out in the coming hours
People think
whether
Gaza,
the
Palestinians,
WikiLeaks founder
like-
Julian Assange will finally be extradited to the United States from Britain or given another chance to appeal. Assange could face espionage charges in the US but has been fighting an extradition order from a London prison cell for 3 years.
February 2024, a hearing on Julian Assange's appeal of his extradition to the US. His wife pled for his release.
His health is in decline.
She's a
Mentally
bit
and
alright,
physically,
isn't she, man?
His life is at
Never
risk.
caught
Every
his missus
single day
before.
he stays in prison.
Where's the accent?
And if he is
American?
extradited, he will die.
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
But it's not just about him being extradited. Julian should never have been put in prison in the first place.
The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture also called for the US to drop its case.
I am very worried about Mr. Assange's health, his ability to survive the extradition and the real likelihood of suicide.
Well, that
I'm
sounds
worried about the
Australian,
conditions of
which would make
detention
sense,
in the United
'cause
States, where they use solitary
Assange's
confinement on a regular
Australian, isn't he?
basis, and that this would cause
pretty sure that's
irreparable
his-
harm
his
to Mr.
birthplace.
Assange.
Assange faces significant legal danger in the US, a prison sentence of up to 175 years. He's been a wanted man since 2010 after his whistleblowing forum WikiLeaks published classified US Army material supplied by an intelligence analyst.
Oh, that was
The
them
leak
wiping out
contained
the
documents
journalists.
and video footage from the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Some of the footage was shocking, seemingly implicating US troops in possible war crimes.
We didn't implicate him, they just fucking mowed down a bunch of fucking cunts. But it's war, innit?
I
What
believe
do you think happens in war?
if those
Thank God all
killings
these
were
bullets are
lawful
going to
under
die.
the rules of engagement, then the rules of engagement are right.
That's where my spidey sense kind of goes off in the sense that
Many applauded Assange's fearlessness.
Even now, there's the aftertaste for me. It was
showered with awards and
more
voted Reader's Choice for Times
political
Person of the Year in 2010.
moral.
But for many others, the leaks were nothing short of treason. And
I
Assange,
could be
a dangerous
completely wrong.
enemy
Maybe
of the
the
state.
guy just fucking wanted to
In
save
November
the planet.
2010,
Maybe it
Swedish
was a real
authorities
life.
issued an arrest warrant for
He
Assange
definitely
after
looks
two
like
women
a
accused
fucking
him of
Bond
sexual
villain,
assault
doesn't
and
he?
rape. He lost the legal battle to fight extradition to Sweden. While on bail, Assange sought refuge in London's Ecuadorian embassy.
Some could say he
It
was
became his home
selective
for the next 7
with
years.
the
But in 2019,
pieces that he
Ecuador's new
brought out,
government
the
had enough of
information
its
that he brought out.
controversial embassy lodger. Police were invited in and arrested Assange.
That's a strong
His
argument,
supporters say that
actually.
the
man.
U.S. effort to extradite him is an attack on
As
free
a
speech
top
itself.
player.
This case has alarming implications for journalism and press freedom around the world, not least of all as he would be the first publisher tried under the U.S. Espionage Act, which lacks a
Then
public
there'll
interest
be
defense.
more
We would add from Reporters Without Borders that there should be a
gases.
political solution, but that it must involve no further time in prison for Julian in any country.
A warrior for press freedom or a careless betrayer of sensitive secrets. Assange's case has divided people ever since his legal saga started.
DW London correspondent Birgit Maas is in front of the courthouse for us, and she told me earlier why this hearing is so important for Assange.
Today is really the last legal avenue here in the UK that Julian Assange and his team can go to avoid the extradition to the United States. Somebody from his team, from his
She looks
supporters,
like a very
close team, has told me that they
unattractive
fear
German
that if this appeal is
headmistress.
not granted today, that he actually could be on a plane to the
Get a
United
touch of the
States within
fucking
24
Camilla
hours.
fucking wouldn't he
So
fuck her
really a
balls
lot
about
is
her?
at stake today. Stella Assange, his wife, has told
I didn't say
reporters
that
she has
out loud.
seen Julian Assange
Not cool. Right, let's go and see if the frogs can date any better. But
the
frogs may tell
piloting
us.
and testing for
Everybody's
all
got
these
to be
houses
touching on this.
because we will have to turn the
17
new
minutes.
page because okay, these houses have lasted for 50 years, but they will not.
Oh, beautiful. It's working.
Genie Godric News Round. Welcome, you're watching The World Today on France 24. In this hour of the programme, as ever, featuring some of our magazine programmes, including Talking Europe and Access Asia. First, though, here's the main headlines. Iran's supreme leader confirms the names of the country's new acting president and foreign minister, that after the former occupants of the post were both killed in a helicopter crash. The deaths confirmed
I don't
after
think
a
went to
long
the
search in
bureaucracy of it
There's
all,
no
man,
sound
but I thought they were talking about an election.
International Affairs editor Ketavan Gordistani in just a moment.
Maybe, like, well, maybe.
Taiwan's new
I think it
president
would make
sworn in
sense.
at his
Somebody
inauguration.
dies.
In his speech, he urges China to stop its
Somebody
military
steps in.
intimidation against the self-governed island. We'll get the reaction from China from our correspondent Yenna Lee.
Oh yeah,
And the
baby.
WikiLeaks founder
Fucking
Julian
Taiwan's
Assange
in the
could find
mix.
out shortly if he's won a reprieve in his
Power to the
last-ditch
commies.
UK
I mean,
legal
the
battle to
people.
avoid extradition to the United States. If he loses, he could swiftly be flown to the US. We'll hear from our correspondent Benedict Pavio in London on that shortly.
Right, hold on. I'm seriously took my eye off the ball with Assange, but it just got so boring.
So in the last hour then, Iran's supreme leader has confirmed the names of the country's new acting president and foreign minister. The acting president will become the former vice president, Mohammed Mokhbar, and the acting foreign minister will now be Ali Bagheri Khani. Those names
I feel this guy's
revealed by the supreme
I wanna
leader,
be
the
feeling
Iranian
this pain.
president, the country's
But that
foreign
definitely
minister, the
looks like
former
spray
one,
on
that is,
here.
and other senior figures, all found dead at the site of a helicopter crash. It came after an hours-long search through a foggy, mountainous region of the country's
Doesn't look that
northwest.
foggy
No
there.
immediate cause for that crash. No sign, though, that at this stage there was any foul play involved. Charlotte Hughes has
Apart from there fucking be nothing there. I'm no expert, man, but look.
This drone footage, shared on Iranian state media, purports to show the charred wreckage of the helicopter that was carrying Iran's president. the foreign
In fact,
minister,
it is. It's
and
only
several
blind
others.
speculation. I
After an
fucking
overnight
no
search hampered by
expertise.
tough weather conditions and rough terrain,
All my
rescuers
expertise
found
comes from
President Ibrahim
fucking
Raisi dead at a
Netflix and
crash site
Amazon
in
Prime.
northwestern Iran, near the
So of course,
Azerbaijan border.
I'm an expert.
Iranian state
Done
media
my further
confirmed the
research.
development.
The helicopter carrying Mr. Raisi, who traveled yesterday to East Azerbaijan province, crashed while it was returning due to bad weather conditions. Ibrahim Raisi achieved the high rank of martyrdom on the way to serve the people.
Raisi was returning from a visit to an Iran-Azerbaijan border area to inaugurate a dam with his counterpart Ilham Aliyev. The helicopter is believed to have been crossing the mountainous region of Vazakhan County near the shared border in harsh weather conditions and heavy fog.
Fuck's sake, 20
Among the
votes.
several others killed in the crash was Foreign Minister Hussein Amir
98%
Abdullahi, who was known for his strong anti-Israel
says
sentiment
yes,
and had
it's
close ties
fascinating.
with the country's Revolutionary Guard. According to the Iranian Interior
People
Minister,
are just
the
less
helicopter
likely
was
to
part of a
fucking
convoy
just
of 3, 2 of
swallow
which
the
had arrived
official
safely at their
narrative anymore, aren't
destination.
they, man? It's
On
just
Monday, the Iranian cabinet
just
held an
the
emergency
social
meeting
medias and all
and,
that
in a
jazz, man,
statement,
everybody
promised
is
that
like,
the government would continue to work, quote, without the slightest disruption. Elections for a new president have to take place within 50 days.
Well, Ketevan Gordestani from our International Affairs Desk is joining us here on set now. Ketevan, we've had those announcements then of the acting president and the acting foreign minister, but what could it mean both in the short term and in the longer term as well?
See, spray on
in the
here,
short
what do you
term,
think?
Mohammad
Here in the can?
Mokhtar is going to be basically an interim president. He's going to be tasked along with the president of the parliament, the speaker of the parliament, and the head of the judiciary to organize within 50
Right, it's pretty much just... Oh, hold on, let's get the...
days. The next presidential
flange
going
stuff.
out is and going to see of a fair for a big in the
just-
short one.
It's very repetitive, it's the same shit, just getting chewing the curd in it.
For an Iran game and the country.
And children. The strikes in a built-up Palestinian refugee camp, Nuseirat,
Oh,
in central
Gaza
Gaza.
still
The camp
exists
dates
in
back to the
the European
1948
Union.
Arab-Israeli war. Amongst the dead, said to be at least 10 women and 7 children. It comes as Israeli leaders have continued to air divisions over who should govern Gaza
There's
after the
Celtic
war.
Park.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's main political rival, Benny Gantz, threatening to leave the government if a plan is not created by June the 8th that includes an international administration for post-war Gaza.
Wait, hold on, I've got a Barack... Oh, there's fucking full
US
drinks.
President Joe Biden says he's heard the voice of Gaza war protesters. That as some students turn their backs on
Uh-oh, I thought he was going to say he's heard the voice of God or some shit. I'm like, oh my God. Oh fucking... Can't he fucking help it?
his graduation ceremony speech at the former University of Civil Rights icon Martin Luther King Jr. A small number of graduates carrying out that silent protest, with some holding Palestinian flags, one holding up a fist as Biden spoke at Morehouse College. It's an historically black university in Atlanta, Georgia. The speech, Biden's most direct encounter with American students since the Gaza protests engulfed campuses nationwide.
Storm the Capitol. I support peaceful, nonviolent protest. Your voices should be heard, and I promise you.
Right, is he stoned? Or what's it with fucking presidents? Right, now you go and look at George Bush. Before he was president, he could open his eyes. And then when he got president, he was like, hey, I'm like a cowboy, man. And now fucking... what's the... Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe now, can he open his eyes? What the fuck? What happens when you become president? Is it... I'll leave this colourful jokes to your own imagination.
It's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. That's why I've called for an immediate ceasefire. An immediate ceasefire to stop the fighting.
More than the fucking British Parliament would do, without getting usurped.
One ceasefire. I'm working to bring the region together. I'm working to build a lasting, durable peace. Because the question is, and you see what's going on in Israel today, what after? What after Hamas?
Joe Biden there. Now, in his inauguration speech, the new president of Taiwan has urged China to stop its military intimidation against the self-governed island. Lai Ching-te, sworn into office, thousands of supporters after he won an election earlier this year. Lai is a relative moderate. He's set to continue Taiwan's policy of de facto independence, whilst at the same time
get a fucking haircut for fucking 1990, didn't he, man? But
Eliza Herbert reports.
He's down with a round eye.
Office in Taipei, thousands gathered to welcome their new president, Lai Ching-te. Amid the fanfare and festivities, he had a message for his people. He wants peace in the region.
I want to call on China to cease their political and military intimidation against Taiwan, share the global responsibility of maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait as well as the greater region, and ensure the world is free from the fear of war.
They need voiceovers, don't they, man? They've got the same problem that the Yemeni yellow people, Yemenis have. They don't sound fucking mental, man, when they're delivering speeches. And that's him just telling you the fucking want their fucking eggs scrambled in the morning, man. You're like, whoa!
They reinforced on Monday after Lai Ching-te's inauguration.
I would like to emphasize that Taiwan
is
independence
a
dead end.
Who's this? Oh, this
no
is
matter
Chinese
under
dude.
what guise or banner, the pursuit of Taiwan independence and secession is doomed to fail.
Lai Ching-te has been described by Beijing as a dangerous separatist for his past declarations in favour of independence. Today, he defends the status quo of Thailand's political autonomy. He's expected to further increase the island's military spending and further strengthen ties with the United States, Taiwan's main arms supplier.
Oh, yo, mate, what, 1990s calling, they want their curtains back.
Assange could find out shortly if he's won a reprieve in his last-ditch UK legal battle to avoid extradition to the United States. The Australian national seeking permission to appeal against a ruling allowing him to be sent to face
I do actually want to tune into this a wee bit.
To avoid out shortly if he...
I don't have a fucking
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange could find out shortly if he's won a reprieve in his last-ditch UK legal battle to avoid extradition to the United States.
You're shitting me. Is he still sitting in that shithole of fucking an embassy down in London? Is he still there? My lordy lord, man. Right, it's bad enough being in London, full stop, right? By most people's accounts, the vast majority of London's a shithole. You only need to ask people of London about that. And he's fucking stuck in an extra special shithole, an Ecuadorian. Did they even do good grub? Ecuador's Mexico way in it, man. It'll be like Mexican food, I suppose. Anyway, let's listen to Here in a Can, man.
National seeking permission to appeal against a ruling allowing him to be sent to face a US trial on espionage charges. The two High Court judges in London handling Assange's request adjourned that case in March, asking US government lawyers to return with satisfactory assurances that he would not face the death penalty if convicted. You're watching The World Today.
Why doesn't some smart fucking boffin go at here? Look, we could really, instead of scoring an own goal, we could really get a fucking home win here. Let's fucking let Assange off. Make us not look like fucking authoritarian nutbars. Jailing people for whatever the objectives, telling the truth. I mean, nobody's questioning the information. It's about leaking it.
It was the dawn of a new, greener era.
Today is the start of a journey.
In 2019, the European Commission began its green revolution to decarbonise Europe.
Yep, that looks green as fuck.
The European Green Deal is our vision.
Do you want to know how it looks? Do you want to know how I know it looks like green? Because it looks like park. It looks like Celtic Park.
climate-neutral continent in 2050.
But the past 5 years have seen the Green Deal confronted with a harsh reality.
We stay the course, we stay ambitious, and we
Tail.
stick to our growth strategy.
Fucking
Stringent
smell.
measures demanded by the EU have shaken the status quo in Europe. Now Brussels has to ensure the environment doesn't come at too high a cost for the economy.
We will always strive for fair and just transition. That means a fair outcome for future generations, to live on a healthy planet, with decent jobs and a solemn promise to leave no one behind.
Oh, God.
From dormant giants in industrial
I don't know about yous, I
heartlands
believe
to
it.
invaluable invertebrates
Amen.
in the earth beneath us,
Amen.
the Green Deal aims to put green measures at
No,
the heart of
I'm a bit
Europeans' everyday
apprehensive.
lives.
Maybe she's like every other
One solution may be
fucking
found right under our
politician that
feet
has
in the
ever
soil of
came
Normandy and
before
France.
her and
This
promises
young
you the
startup has
world
developed a cheap solution
and typically
to farmers
delivers
a head
sweet
start in
Fanny
going green.
Adams.
Here we're loading the horse manure that we've collected from stables in the region. We'll use it to feed the earthworms.
Oh, talking
Horse
about
manure
politicians,
is the only
a big
ingredient
fucking
in
bar
Via
of shite
Agro's
hits you in the
crisp.
face. What can I say? It's very predictable.
We're mixing coffee grounds and grain residues from breweries.
This production line is 25 metres long and the main activity takes place out of sight. The workers get through hundreds of tons of waste each year.
And here are our earthworms. Here at Veragro, we have 25 million employees. 25
Please
million
tell us they're not
earthworms.
trying
They
to
work
fucking
7 days
sell
a
us
week, 24 hours
worms
a
to
day.
eat.
Their job is to consume this organic waste and to produce vermicompost, which is the
Eat the
best
shite.
fertilizer that exists. We haven't invented anything. We're just copying what nature does best.
Producing worm fertiliser on this scale is unique in Europe. Veragro received €560,000 from the EU, of which a third came from cohesion funds to help it nourish its worms and the earth.
It's 100% earthworm excretion. Using this substance, just like this, on an agroeconomic level, there's nothing better. We aim to concentrate everything that's in it, all the life, all the microorganisms, all the main active ingredients, into a liquid format that can be used for agriculture.
The finished product is the fruit of 3 years of research. Last year, 600,000 litres
Liquid
were produced
shite.
here.
Here is the end product.
Yes,
Here
this
is
is
our
what it looks like
biostimulant.
when you
If
put
look at the
shit in a
average of our
blender.
field studies on potatoes, this increases yield by 15%.
I'm pretty sure it's
It
a
has
lot more
valuable effect in
complicated than
conditions
that.
of abiotic stress.
Anyway,
such as
why am I
during periods of
finding this
drought.
strangely more fucking
As part of the
appealing
Green
to
Deal,
watch
the
than
EU's
anything
soil
to do with the
strategy
news?
aims to improve
I-
soil
I'm-
quality
I
by
want to
pushing farmers to use
fucking-
less chemical pesticides and fertilisers. And perhaps
it's
let
shite
the
in your
earthworms
field.
do their job.
We start with a waste product, and we end up with a product that helps farmers use less fertilizer. So it's a virtuous circle. It's a circular economy.
Hey, I'm not the only one that fucking knows that fucking farmers use shite.
At the other end of Europe in Estonia, it's Europe's
Anyway,
city dwellers
who am
who are
I
set
to mock the French? Let's see. Ooh, again, another very unattractive school teacher.
Brenton Gordon, really appreciate you joining us, former British Army Colonel. Thank you for that. Still with us, of course, is Sam Armstrong. I mean, this is the concern. You can think, oh, good, a baddie, a couple of baddies gone. That's a good thing.
She'd do well in a
particularly,
Catholic school.
Again, an extraordinary thing of these sort of lefties in the
Keep
West
hard-ons.
cheering on Iran when the
Yeah, minimum.
subjugation of women in Iran is just so. Oh, by the way, gays, yeah, not
Amongst
doing
the
so
youth.
well under these kind of people, by the way.
Oh my
But,
God, check
again,
this week,
better the devil
Poindexter
you know
out,
what you're
man.
working with when you're dealing with these
Oh
people.
my
There'll be,
God.
There'll be long-term knowledge.
What
but
do you think his
could
name is?
really- could
Rupert?
they be even worse.
Frederick.
Whoever comes next is hardly going to be at the top of the Stonewall Index of good employers this year.
Ooh,
This
that'd
is
be
the
a
trouble
good
with
poll.
Iran. It is a religious theocracy that is actually that the political class are subservient to some
Like their leader
mad,
dies,
Iranian
and
theological
how are
leaders
we
whose
going to make it?
interpretation of the
How are
Quran
we
is
going
such
to
that
poke them with a big
everything that
jobby
comes
stick?
out of it follows hatred of the US, hatred
Like,
of
come on,
women,
funny
hatred of
insults,
gay
childlike
people. It
insults
all
for this guy
follows
in the
from
comments.
this religious interpretation, and we know that they can rig these
He's like,
elections to
fuck,
give us
whoa.
worse and worse and worse leaders. That's been the story
Jacob
so far.
Rees
A few
Moggs,
countries
fucking
tacked
love
to the
child.
centre when they're in a type of crisis.
Jacob Rees-Mogg and her.
I'm still fascinated by countries
Love
going through the
child.
motions of election, like they do, China and Russia and in Iran and elsewhere. It's bizarre. Anyway,
Honor Satan, I
10:33
tell
is
you.
the time. I'm going to take a
It's
short
almost
break.
as
Then we're going to
bad
be
as the
talking to a
fucking
former health secretary
picture
about
of the
what he
fucking
knew
king.
when about the contaminated blood scandal. I want to hear from you. I know we've not got the report yet, but we know an awful lot. That's the whole point, really, this whole thing. We know a lot about this for years, and it was covered up. I want to know, who do you blame for this scandal and why? Particularly talking about the culture of the NHS in terms of just this absolute blatant refusal to own up when things go wrong and to deal with it and be honest about it and tackle it, as opposed to, leaving thousands more people to die unnecessarily. You'd think people working in the NHS might care about that. Do give us a call, please. 0344 499 1000 is the number to call. This is Talk.
£45 per ounce, and the FTSE 100's at 8,437 points.
Cheers Britannia Wine Club proudly sponsors the GB News Financial Report.
The latest GB News travel.
Good morning, I'm Russell Holding in North Yorkshire on the A64. The westbound entry slip roads closed at the Grimston Bar interchange southeast of York after an accident causing delays. On Merseyside, the A580 East Lancs Road closed each way off the A571 at Carmill west of Haydock for an investigation. Buses replaced trains between Derby and
Nigel Vag TV trying to sell me gold there.
The Blackwall Tunnel's been closed northbound where someone's
Or else the
down
boats went up to 25.
At the Sun in the Sands on the M25.
84% saying
queues over the QE2 bridge.
Assassinated.
Junction 3 for the M20.
That doesn't even really need elaborating on, does it?
In Dorset, the A350 is closed.
Can really escape
over the Twin Sails Bridge in Poole.
That is a world event, man.
Causing delays, and that's the latest.
You can stay up to date throughout the day by visiting our website, gbnews.com.
Genocide, but this is yet another factor putting pressure on Israel.
This is
and so Israel
some
is under
entity
a lot
of
pressure,
Fox.
both external and internal.
Seems to be like
Hey,
a...
Gray, always a pleasure speaking with you here on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate your
I don't really
expertise
know.
and dialogue.
Seems
You
to be
enjoy
an
the rest of
online
your day.
thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. As we further the conversation of the very latest of the Israel-Hamas war, I mentioned in the interview that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has faced criticism from his own war cabinet, with his main political rival, Benny Gantz, threatening to leave the government if a plan is not formulated by June 8th that includes an international administration for post-war Gaza. Israeli cabinet minister Gantz gave a statement on the latest of the Israel-Hamas war and the hostage situation. The end of
Why
his
was it
remarks
called
were
64?
in
Was it
English.
like
I wanna play that for
64-bit
you
or something? I remember them Mega Drive, and it was like Mega Drive or the Sega Genesis. Oh, Central Gaza, good stuff.
Thank you. This
Yo.
is Damandia Lyoyo, journalist from Open TV in Greece. It's a question in English, right? Okay, you have said to Mr.
Right.
Sullivan that ending the war without clearing out Rafah is like sending
This
a
is a
firefighter to
replay
extinguish
from when, I
8%
don't
of
know.
fire. What are you going to telling to him this time regarding that, as we know and as it is reported there in Rafah, there are some hostages, and also there
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with poo. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with poo. Ah, fuck the Congo, fucking the Bongo, no fucking save that place.
Now to Sean Diddy
fucking
Combs
check,
breaking
Carter.
his silence. The music mogul is admitting to beating his ex-girlfriend in a hotel back in 2016 after
that'd
video
be
of
because
the
he was
attack
caught on
recently
camera,
surfaced.
fucking with
ABC's
Hitler.
Melissa Dunn has the details.
Sean Diddy Combs admitting to beating his ex-girlfriend, apologizing 2 days after this disturbing surveillance video exclusively obtained by CNN showed him attacking singer Cassie Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016.
There you go, have some of that.
In a lawsuit settled
and that's American TV news for you. See what the Chinos are saying. I don't know. This. I don't know how. Stream friendly, that's a good way of saying this is going to be. I don't know, man. I've only watched a couple of minutes and I already want to move to China. Look at the costumes. Look at the woman. Look at the hats. I love a hat.
During our Harvest Festival, we have similar activities, but they're not as grand or rich in content as this. We're here to observe and learn, hope we can bring these experiences back home.
Whenever there is a festival, Miao people will put on festive attire and dance the Cai Huashan to traditional folk songs.
That's what I was going to say, by the way, about all the P. Diddy stuff.
In Chiyu dualism, in Miao culture, kind, beautiful,
did they know
and
recently
women are called
outed or somebody like pointed out like
encapsulates the sweetness of love,
kind of being a pimp and why not these women about
from Berlin in Germany. It was a really heart-touching moment
could
to be here
be seen
for the
as
first
sex trafficking.
Looking to these wonderful pictures.
Anyway, the point I'm making is he definitely seems to be on the hit list of somebody who's upset somebody along the line because the stuff that is getting used to crucify the guy. And rightly so, man. He obviously looked for that footage, man. What I'm saying, though, is this is now all coming to light. I would argue because somebody's willed it, if that makes sense. So God knows, maybe he's slapped around the wrong woman. That woman is now powerful, or fucking the kid or whatever of a powerful person, and they're going after him. But it's certainly not like it's like Stone Me, man. Next there'll be like breaking news. Puff Daddy's black. Like, slaps woman about and he fucking is a sex trafficker. Oh, well, he tells you all that shit in his songs, man. Fucking strange. And again, that it's atrocious fucking behaviour, man. And is I do not know anywhere that's acceptable. That is not. That isn't acceptable amongst men, man.
And they all concur
and where it is or has been,
it binds people together across time and space.
Through the collections,
stuff like that is never. I've never been.
History of Spain. That at the end, one of the most distinctive features of the Prado.
Thank fuck the motherfuckers can cook. Fucking can he produce sex appeal news, man?
In the first history.
I'm gonna stick to your fucking takeaways, man.
At its origins. So it's a great moment to understand not only the beauty.
I'm already bored out my titties. Sorry, China. Look, this is how you do it, man.
Legally via the southern border, and nearly 40,000 of them came from China. And to reach America, they often have to travel through Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Central America, and Mexico to reach California. For 7 weeks, from November to January, CNN senior correspondent Wei Du and her crew followed a group of Chinese migrants for part of this perilous journey. And this is the scene that greeted them when they reached the U.S. border wall in California.
Love a good coup. Jacumba. That sounds fucking what a cool fucking sounding place. Jacumba. Motherfucker. Singapore outfit. Did I read that right? Did they say it was California? Right. So it's going to be the brown people not in boats. It is a different continent, but it is English speaking. But weirdly enough, I'm coming to the opinion they speak English in Singapore. I know they speak English, but no, the reason I say that is because when you've seen their politicians, their talking heads in their parliament, they're getting down in English. They're not Singaporean or whatever. I think we just speak in Singapore, probably Chinese. That's why they speak English. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, thank fuck. I can do Spaceballs on this. And this is some.
Put them in your bags.
In 2023, that seems like an awful.
Oh. Yeah, live from Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's right, I'll tell you. That is actually the most frequently asked question, even when we were on the shoot. But I want to address the 40,000 figure, because a lot of people also say that's not a lot of people when you consider it was 2.5 million migrants that entered the U.S. illegally in 2023. And certainly there's still 1.4 billion people in China. But what really matters here is the trend, right? Because 40,000, that's twice as many as what they had in a decade before. So in the past, you're only looking at a handful of Chinese people making this trip. Now, several news reports have been made about the migrants arriving on the border when they are interviewed, and invariably they say, we're here for freedom and democracy. There's, of course, nothing wrong with that, but we just had this sneaking suspicion that it's not the whole story based on our experience of making migration documentaries in the past. So the crew and I traveled to Quito, Ecuador. We met a group of Chinese migrants. We had.
Oh, do you know what I'm smelling? I'm smelling a whiff of Chinese migrants are a big bit stinky. That's what I'm getting a whiff of.
Dinner with them, they relaxed a bit, and they opened up. Take a listen.
走到这儿花了多少钱？
Yeah, take off by the world.
现在的预期是走完还得花多少钱？
正常的话，至少要10个左右。
都拿得出来这个钱吗？
我们是录卡呀，在卡里录啊，信用卡这些。现在好了。
Right. There's a kind of joke in here somewhere. I'm going to roll with it. Have they blurred her eyes out? Or are they just that small? I actually got go. It's better than. Why the fuck have they blurred her eyeballs out? That makes her look freaky. You're fucking.
您的年轻你信用卡没有这个额度？
有，信用卡有10万块吧。
所以走线以前基本上都是南美人，很穷的国家。这个中国是世界上第2大经济体，怎么那么多人来走线呢？
那疫情这3年疫情把老百姓坑成了，自己做买卖做了能不到2年嘛。
I can't focus on the fucking shite they're spewing because of that no eye woman. What the hell have they done?
把钱全部赔光了吗？自己的积蓄？
可不是赔了他妈的新房都没住上，玩意儿这就是出来开始当班了吗？现在对于我来说，我2个孩子不好骂。
啊。
就因为像我们就是有个小的加工厂啊，做皮具类的啊，可能这4年总共亏损了差不多90多万。一看这都是没有钱挣，现在还有点路费，赶快爬啊！
在国内像我这么大年纪，基本上打工都没人要。 今年56。去那边。
Well, see over here, Hen, it's kind of hard to find a job with no fucking eyes. Oh, I seen the most disturbing thing the other day. It's one of the hellholes of social media, and it was I ended up in the crack cocaine cycle, art scrolling, and somehow, some way, it was animal melt your hearts pictures. But this was a cat, one of those skinny, horrible looking cats, and it had no eyes. It had fucking cancer of the retinas or some shit, and it had a fucking operation, and it removed its eyeballs, so it was still alive, but it just looked like a fucking skull. Oh my god, it was fucking disturbing, but somehow melting your heart as well. You're like, oh, but oh no, man, it fucking, you wouldn't want that sleeping next to you, man. You would wake up like that. Oh, fucking hell, man. What's your name, hen? Right, I've done enough with that. China sends 4 satellites into space. Great stuff. How did they come across? Oh, that looks nice. China's Naksen County promotes development of crayfish industry. Oh, I don't like crayfish. Yeah, I do like satellites. There's a joke in there as well. I'll let you try and work at it. Aerial view of terrace, and obviously this is China media. Domain, server in Italy, domain, nationality Chinese. So this is China swinging her dick. How great they are. Oh, that looks nice, man. It must be for dyeing or something, or is that paddy fields? Fuck. Yeah, hold on, man. I don't know if I'm being racist against leprechauns or no here. What do you call rice fields? Paddy fields? Or am I fucking tripping? Anyway, is that where they grow rice? I heard there's a lot of rice in China. There's got to be terraces and all that, man. That must be fucking ancient. The mofo. That's got to be the rice fields. Paddy fields? What the fuck? Paddy fields, aye. Rice paddies. Yeah, I didn't want to hurt any leprechauns' fucking feelings. What do you call an Irishman fucking working in a paddy field? A paddy in a paddy field? Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure probably Irish people don't have a sense of humour, you know? They wouldn't like it. Picture it. Honestly, I was in a brain fart there, man. I couldn't fucking remember if rice fields were paddy fields. They are paddy fields anyway. It looks lovely anyway, that. Oh wow, look at that, man. Well, that didn't happen overnight, did it? So out of curiosity, I would like to know where's the source of the water. Is there a wee stream up the top of the hill that's feeding all that? And we've just created tons of wee dams and all that jazz. The terraces. Damned terraces, and then like each feeds the other. They're like layered on each other, man. No wonder they like their rice over there, man. Fucking they've cracked it when it comes to growing it. Oh, is that one for your flat earthers? That can't be. I can understand how it's a circular thing, but that can't be the world. Can't be, it's too small. An aerial, it's a panoramic, not the globe. But give that to some flat earthers. Anyway, oh fuck, I need to stay away from maps. Guzhou region. So is that is that Chinese news titillation? Well, it's like my egg box. It's got a good bit of diversity in it.
American. Actually, and yeah, it just really looked like an interesting job role.
It involves preserving corpses for repatriation or viewings. She felt at ease from day one.
I look after the general preparation of people's loved ones, so washing, lovely. Dressing, casketing, cosmetics, fingerprints, hair, locks of hair,
from what I've noticed,
like that.
Tends to be a wee bit Australian-centric, less international news, more.
Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi and his foreign minister killed in a helicopter crash in the country's northwest.
Were found in the highway today, just as an example.
The bodies of a man and his young son found in a home in northern New South Wales, and it's now been revealed the man had a history of domestic violence.
This
a
is
London
the
court set to rule on whether or not WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange should be extradited to the United States.
Random,
and
just...
Parramatta Eels coach Brad Arthur sacked, effective immediately. To ABC News, I'm Catherine Robinson. Iran's hardline and divisive press of two of the country's most influential have been killed in a Iran's hardline and divisive president and his foreign minister have been killed in a helicopter crash. The deaths of two of the country's most influential figures comes at a tumultuous time, both at home and overseas. It took hours to find the crash site of the helicopter, one of three travelling in a convoy over mountainous terrain in heavy fog. Middle East correspondent Eric Torchek has the details.
The last moments on the helicopter as President Raisi returns from a visit to the border.
I mean,
but as the weather closes in,
if he wasn't assassinated through some sort of sabotage,
a massive search is launched.
It is hell of a convenient.
Sent to find the president, the foreign minister, and the others
There's
on board.
no denying that.
In the dead of night, with torches and on foot, amid poor visibility, no one can find anything. On the streets of Tehran, supporters of the regime come out to pray. The supreme leader tells people to be calm.
The Iranian nation must not be worried, and rest assured there will be no disruption to running of the country.
And finally, as dawn breaks, they find what they think is the burnt-out wreckage in a remote, rugged, mountainous area. State TV announces there's no sign of life. The president and the others are dead. President Raisi was one of the most conservative presidents Iran has ever had. As number two in power,
I could do some deep
research
and go out and do a Google
the main contenders to replace him.
for helicopter crashes and see whether there tends to be like a carcass left or
Australian
not.
academic Kylie Moore
I don't
Gilbert was
know.
imprisoned in Iran for more than 2 years before being released in 2020.
I think the vast majority of the population
Looks like
in
it's
Iran
fucking
is actually
incinerated,
celebrating right now.
like there's nothing there.
Raisi was
apart from
widely
the tail.
loathed by most Iranians. He's well known to be a war criminal. He has
One of the old school conspiracies.
The president increased support for armed
Spontaneous
groups around the Middle East
combustion.
and ordered the first overt Iranian strike
And you'd
on
see
Israeli
pictures.
territory.
And there would be like
Also
fucking
oversaw a
ashes,
brutal
everything would be
crackdown on the women's rights
alright, and
protests
the
that rocked the
old
country in
woman's legs.
2022.
And they would
The
say it was
daughters of a woman killed in
spontaneous
the protest
combustion or whatever.
celebrated the news. As the bodies are recovered, it's
Hold on a
clear
sec.
not everyone in Iran
Did you
or
say
the
somebody
wider
was-
region is going to mourn the president's passing.
Oh wow, they're actually like pissing on his grave.
Daughters of a woman killed in the country. He also
Hold on a sec,
overt
right.
Iranian increased support for armed.
This is noteworthy. They've went more balls out. They're putting on a few more shrimps on the Barbie.
Around the Middle East and ordered the first overt Iranian strike on Israeli territory. He also oversaw a brutal crackdown on the women's rights protests that rocked the country in 2022. The daughters of a woman killed in the protests celebrated the news. As the bodies are recovered,
my God. So the Aussies have literally got fucking two hot-looking Arab women fucking, maybe not with their tits out, but they're showing a wee bit more forehead than your average Press TV clip. And they're drinking beer. Fair play to the fucking Aussies. Fucking balls out.
The wider region is going to mourn the president's passing.
And I spoke earlier with Eric Torchek in Jerusalem. He says there's been mixed reactions to the deaths.
There's been formal expressions of condolences from key leaders of states like Turkey, and there's also been statements put out by the armed groups around the region which Iran supports, like Hezbollah and Hamas in Gaza. They've all expressed their condolences and their deep regret at the passing of President Ebrahim Raisi. There's been the formal expressions of grief, call for public prayers, but a lot of people in Iran and the Iranian diaspora are celebrating. Ebrahim Raisi was not popular, particularly with the younger generations in Iran. And older generations remember his role presiding over commissions in the late 1980s that sentenced large numbers of people to death. He's a former Chief Justice of Iran, and then also since 2022, when his government brutally repressed the woman life freedom protests.
As opposed to just repressing shit, you know? Hey, I'm going to repress you. Okay, just don't do it brutally. Well, funny you should mention that. Meet my friend Brutus. And it's alleged that Brutus is a wee bit brutal. And he's going to repress you.
That began with the death of a young Iranian woman who was taken into custody for not wearing a headscarf. The dissent and domestic unrest against the government was unprecedented in recent times, at least, against his government, and a large number of people were again...
Right, look, can I just say something? You won't find me anytime soon in a fucking desert with a towel on my head, fucking praying in whatever direction. Right, that ain't going to happen, right? But to dare to suggest, call me sceptical, to think a woman got arrested or whatever shite they're spinning here for wearing a hairdress, right? I mean, like, let's count the ways where that could be bullshit. The woman could get a hefty backhander to go and act like a fucking arsehole in front of cops and get arrested, and then they'll spin it like that. Just one angle. I don't know. Anyway.
Killed by Iranian security services, and more have been sentenced to death subsequently for dissent against the regime. So those families, they've certainly been celebrating. There's been a lot of stuff circulated on social media channels from people reacting to the president's death with a lot of happiness. So while the formal expressions of condolences are out there, the more grassroots expressions, certainly some of the ones that we're seeing, they're not sorry. This president won't be mourned by a large number of Iranians.
So what now for the transition of power? Do you have any idea who will replace the president?
The Vice President Mohammad Mokhber Kath has assumed responsibility. He's met with senior officials already, and the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has said that there will be no disruption to the governance of the state. He said everything's going to continue smoothly, but the Iranian constitution says there must be elections within 50 days following the death of the president. And that'll be really interesting because the elections in which President Raisi was elected in 2021 were historic for their record low turnout, just 49%, and an abnormally large, an astonishingly large number of informal and irregular votes, which were seen as a protest against the Iranian government. That's despite a religious order saying irregular voting was haram or forbidden. So it's going to be very interesting to see which candidates are put forward. Candidates in Iran need to be approved by the Supreme Leader, and how much the population will engage in this process. They don't.
Right, hold on a second there. Let me just stop and interject. Oh, big bad Iranians. Big bad Iranians. They have the Supreme Leader, whatever you might call him. And people that want to run an election have to be approved by him. Can anybody remember George Galloway getting sworn into Parliament? And it's not just George Galloway. You have to stand there, hand on the Bible or other religious texts, and swear allegiance to the king and his heirs. Their heirs. His or her heirs. On the chinny chin chin. But remember, shh. Iran, bad.
Don't see it as democratic. They want a complete change in government, or at least large numbers of people, particularly the younger generations in Iran, do.
Eric Torchek there. Back home, and a 2-year-old boy and his father have been found dead on the New South Wales far north coast in what appears to be a
some of that beer
suicide.
cornflakes.
Concerns were raised after an access visit when the boy wasn't returned to his mother at the agreed time. The father was known to police and had a history of domestic violence.
A little boy's life is cut short, allegedly at the hands of his own father.
I can now sleep easy. "19 hours ago.
A nervous Hope Hicks takes the stand and tears up with emotion. Donald Trump's one.
Wow. BBC News, and that is a poor excuse of a fucking tickety talk fucking video. Boo, 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 boo. I drum up a wee bit better fucking music with that shit. Granted, I probably don't look as good as her. Anyway, that's over 2 hours. I'm going to get out of here. Have a wee look at the poll. So there has been 28 people voted, talking about the Iranian president and foreign minister and the 7 others, I think they were saying. Was it merely assassinated? Very self-explanatory, isn't it? 86% said yes, and who can, the world in which we stay, who could blame them? I mean, just with everything that's happening right now, it's amazingly, well, there's different ways of looking at it. It's amazingly convenient, right? A lot of people, you could easily suggest. There's the possibility that maybe this is the internal PoliTITS going on, you know. I think some of the reports were saying that this dude, the president that has been killed, was earmarked or looked likely to replace the Supreme Leader. He's like a piece of chicken. Supreme. So, has it been internal PoliTITS? Do they get found? I mean, there's 1,000,001 different things that could happen. Is there anybody out there with any flight experience? Like, does a helicopter? I thought a helicopter's rotors, the way they're designed, still kind of turn even if you lose engine power. Did the guy lose? Oh, because 1,000,001 unanswerable questions. But yeah, it's fun to ask. So thanks for tuning in to your daily PoliTITS. Stick a wee thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Sub, bell up, all that jazz. And tune in tomorrow about 5 to 9ish. Hopefully. I'll have another wee look at the different spectrum of English speaking talking heads. Why? Because I don't speak any of that foreign muck stuff. I can, obviously. I can speak 1,001 different languages. I just choose not to. So thanks everybody. GG Barry, Doberman, Unicorn. A to the double A. Is his name actually Craig? Well, for lack of a better phrase, read below, and then I'm going to say, no shit, Sherlock. No, that's my Illuminati. That's my slave name or my Illuminati name. Oh, but I'm Lord Craig MacDonald Houston. That's my lordship there. Verified, framed, stuck on my wall. You know what? I'm rediscovering how cool that game was, and I thought I would have completed it now, right? This sounds stupid, but I didn't know more levels would open up the further I go. And there's a wee fucking thing that I've not clicked on yet. Zombies. Can't remember, but anyway, so I'm assuming you can gear yourself up in all the World War II stuff. And let's be honest, the Nazis had the best weapons. You want one of those wee Luther pistols? The fucking German guns are better in this game. They're better. Anyway, so I'll be doing a bit of it's a good bit of light relief, killing Nazis as opposed to watching genocide live streamed. And who would have thought you would stay in a time where you could make an argument that that's as clickbaity as it is meant to be. Hard to fucking argue, man. More people are in on that in my sphere. Then it's not a genocide, you know. But splitting hairs. What's a genocide to ethnic cleansing? Might play some World of Warships. That sounds pretty cool, man. That's a stupid question. Is it warships on the ocean and all that stuff? I don't know why. World of... What am I thinking about? World of Warcraft? Is that what I'm thinking of? It's meant to be really popular, but I've never had the privilege of playing that. You're right, there is a fucking some cunt stole my name. It's his fault that he was born before me, and I'm calling him out as being the fake Craig Houston, because I'm the real Craig Houston. Does he have an email address? Craig.Houston? Who has that, apart from the real Craig Houston? That old June was fucking still out with his sticks and shit, fucking lighting fires, and I'm like, boop, 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 boop. Come on, Bill Gates, give me a Hotmail address. Give me an email address that I'll forever forever be ashamed of. Yeah, not a bad game, all sorts of warships. I could dig that sort of stuff, mate. Do you know what I really like, right? And it's like, well, I'll just say it: Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Command and Conquer, the old ones. I like the real old ones, man. They were a lot more simpler and simpler times, but I can still play them. Still, in fact, I can quite happily waste far too much time on stuff like that. Play that. What one's that? Damned Armour Reforced. Why does that ring a bell, man? That's got to be a first pair. Mate, see, the thing is, right? I'm shite. I've got the reactions of a fucking... like that. I'm just shite at gaming online, and that's what everybody likes. I like the scary ones. And the one persons. Be a bit of Nazis. I'm a laird, my man. Laird or lord. And my mum's a lady. She's got fishing rights and everything. And I bought her the premium package. So she's got fishing rights and fucking land in the castle. My land is in the Glen. I'm Lord Craig MacDonald Houston of Cheryl Glean. And I used my spidey sense, and I think that's Gaelic for Cheryl Glen Glean. I can hope that's right, and I've not just stabbed in the dark and made a right cunt of myself. But I'm going to stick to it. Courage in my convictions. Just don't Google that shit. What is that other Craig Houston doing? Is he no like involved with the independence movement or something? Oh, he's an Illuminati plant to make sure anybody Googling me doesn't get to the truth, but gets to an SNP stooge. That's my conspiracy on. That's a conspiracy on myself, or am I talking about the other Craig Houston? You get all sorts of benefits for being a lord and laird. You can go and stay there and do all sorts of shit, man. Well, cool. It's not that expensive. It's something different. And women and men like it equally. Yeah. So, stick a wee thumbs up. I'm going to do the off. Let's see if there's a sun out there. Right, I did finish the poll. And if I do this, people can see the results. So 28 votes, 85%. Oh, what's that? 80. Hold on. There's a percentage missing. Am I that fucking stupid? Surely, like on a poll, there's two options. People voting. There should be 100% split. Fucking we are the 99%. That is a conspiracy. Look at that. Hold on. Aye, that's 85% and 14. I'm no Einstein, but I'm pretty sure that's 99%. That's the fucking other percent went to. Alright, Roberto, in the morning, my man. So, fucking conspiracy. Have a nice afternoon, y'all. I'm going to go and do the off. Hopefully catch you tomorrow. Tune in for another PoliTITS. If you like politics, but are sick of the tits, then tune in to Daily PoliTITS. Get it. Got it. Ooh, catchy. Clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.